Hi, this is Braden Holtby.
Hey, this is Tanner the Bulldozer Bozer.
Hi, this is Brian Burke from Toronto, Ontario.
This is Daryl Sutter.
Hello, everyone. I'm Carly Agro from Sportsnet Central.
This is Jay Onright.
This is Quick Dick coming to you from Tofnell, Saskatchewan.
Hey, everybody. My name is Theo Fleury.
This is Kelly Rudy.
This is Corey Cross.
This is Wade Redden.
This is Jordan Tutu.
My name is Jim Pattison.
Hey, it's Ron McLean, Hockey Night in Canada and Rogers Hometown Hockey, and welcome to the Sean Newman Podcast.
Now, let's get on to that T-Bar 1 tale of the tape. We are four brothers spread over 10 years, all born and raised in Hillmont, Saskatchewan. All die-hard Oiler fans who are far from experts. But no worries, we'll argue as if we all are. The Golden Child, the Birdman, the Engineer, and the Big Man. Here's another Newman Brother Roundtable. So buckle up, here we go. Welcome to the Sean Newman Podcast, joined in studio by the brothers. Before we get anywhere, let's talk about last roundtable. We had the bet, who's going to have the most points in the NHL playoffs. By no means did I exactly do well, but I did well enough to not get last.
I think when that bet was made, I laughed at Harley out loud because you took McDavid and Harley took Draisaitl. And I said,
I don't know why.
There's no way you're getting ahead of Sean, so you're an idiot. And I think I was right.
So we bought a bottle of McClellan's, and here we sit.
I sure like it. I by the way, I ended up winning with Kucherov. But
yeah, really, but nobody cares about that.
It's
about
nobody cares
about
the
that,
loser,
Jay.
right?
Yeah,
Halls?
yeah, that's
not
right.
the loser.
That's right. So nobody cares about the winner. You don't need to worry about that. Moving on.
Well, cheers, boys. I'm happy to have you back in the studio again. These are always. Well, I laugh. I feel like in 20 years we're gonna be older guys and we're gonna hear these and be like, "Man, we're morons," but it's a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
You think we'll be sitting in an old folks home somewhere?
Hopefully in 20 years I can still hear. It's a long ways down the road.
You do have a lot more practice talking.
Yes. I got lots to say, I guess.
Well, Lightning win the cup. Let's start with the two bubble leagues, right? You had the NHL in the bubble, and you had the NBA in the bubble. What did you think of bubble sports?
Didn't care for it, to be honest with you. I know that the NBA, the viewership was way down. Going into the finals, I think they were down 46% going into the finals, right? And I'm not sure what it ended up being at, but that tells you something right there. The NHL for me, you get 4 months of the year where you're not confined to being inside and you can enjoy the weather and being outside.
Is it 4 months? Do we actually get 4 months?
Boy, that's that's pushing it.
Yeah.
My kids were pissed the other day when it started snowing out.
Yeah. So for me, I was very ho-hum the NHL season, playoff wise, because I definitely did not follow it near as much as I have in previous years, right? So, the Lightning win, and that's great, I guess. I don't know.
I would say not having fans in the stands just doesn't make for as good a ambiance to the whole thing.
Yeah, but do you at least give them some credit for pulling it off?
No, absolutely.
Totally.
Absolutely.
For sure. Absolutely. I didn't think they'd actually make it all the way through. I thought they'd have a COVID outbreak and that'd be it. They actually made it through. They got it done. I'm impressed with that.
Kind of something
it's just
similar.
different when there's no fans in the stands.
Kind of something similar to what's going on in the NFL right now, right? Where you got guys and then whole teams, and then now they're pushing stuff weeks, and it's a bit of a mess, right? But that's kind of what I half expected going into the NHL playoff season. It didn't happen, to all the credit in the world to them and the NBA. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, COVID's so serious that every player in baseball and football that have got it, I'm still waiting for them to come out and say how someone's in critical condition or ICU.
Is in the hospital?
Remember they talked about the Marlins. There was 18 of them or something, right? And it's such big news, and they're blowing it up.
Well, that's what we talked about last time, I think. Was the 18 Marlins.
And you never heard a word about them coming back to the lineup.
Well, and I'm sure if there's one in the hospital, you would have heard about it.
Oh, 100%. We're shut down the world. I don't know.
Can we talk then? while we're on that note, right? The NFL right now, you got the coaches get fined because they weren't wearing their face masks. And so then you're watching the
in
game.
their own private suite with nobody else.
No, that was
in
the
suite.
the owner.
The owner.
That was Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And so they got anyways, they got coaches. I keep putting my hand in front of them, and then I realize I can't talk. Anyways, so they got, you watch football games right now. All the coaches have them on. All the supporting staff have them on. But then like 50 players all stand around, don't have anything on, and they're running around hitting each other.
I want to meet you know who I think should get on a podcast is who makes these rules. Like, who is the actual guy at the top that makes these rules? Like, does anybody watching this? It's ridiculous. As if them coaches, after the game, all don't go sit in some room, have a beer, look over the video film, talk about it, right? I mean, the masks are there just for show.
It's appease people.
Performance theater.
Oh, it's disgusting.
And the best part, my favorite part, I can't even remember what game I was watching, and who knows, maybe they've corrected it after it happened. So you got the huddle, right? The quarterback sitting there talking to his guys, and then the guy comes in, the water bottle squirter, right? And he squirts it in a couple guys' mouths with the mask on, and they got no mask on, and he's squirting it. I'm like, well, that right there defeats the entire, what is going on here? Right? Like, okay, you got the mask, okay, whatever, that doesn't really make sense. But, for the most part, whatever, my brain carries on. But when he starts squirting water in everybody's mouths, what is that about? That makes no sense.
Hey, every kid on our initiation team had their own water bottle as of 3 years ago. NFL players don't do that, though.
I guess not. Maybe I don't know.
But I guess it is getting squirted. They're not sucking on the lid like the initiation kids do. So that's.
I mean, we could beat this to death because it's just all over the place. But with the bubble thing, so I know that teams did it for TV contracts, stuff like that. Could they do it again next year? Is there a point where the NHL would run out of money? Or can they do it forever as long as they get a big enough TV contract? I just don't have the answer.
Well, TV contracts got to be big enough to make it work, right?
Well, the thing with it all then is everybody's salaries would just start decreasing, right? I mean, that's the whole point of having a salary cap.
Like they did this year.
Right.
And there's no indefinitely, sure, but the cost of doing business would go way down.
The problem is that the CFL probably won't restart. That's the risk you run. Is your league goes defunct
you don't think
because
CFL,
you go bankrupt.
You don't think CFL?
They're talking like it's going to go bankrupt.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the risk you run.
But yeah, okay, I get that. Do you think that when things go back to normal, will some owners get together? Now it might not be a 9-team league, maybe it'll be 6 or something. But do you think it gets back rolling?
Well,
yeah, there would be.
The other thing too is, I mean, people have flirted around with the idea of having a B league for NFL, right? Where, essentially you could start up another league up here and paying your guys up here, and it's like a feeder system for the NFL, right?
CFL purists hate you right now.
No, absolutely, and I get that point, right? But at the same time,
but if there's no league at all,
yeah, there'll be.
Then all of a sudden they come up here and say, "Hey, Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal."
I would think that it'd probably get restarted at some point. It has to, right?
I don't know. There's been things in the past that didn't.
Strange times, Dust.
But money talks, right? So when you go back to just TV, I don't know. They need people in there buying tickets, buying merchandise, drinking way too many beers.
Depends on the sport, though. NFL's TV contract's so big they could go without
NFL
for
is
a while.
The pinnacle. And you found and the NFL didn't shut down and do a bubble. They somehow are playing in all cities and have fans in some of them. And like you just look at what the NFL's doing, and you're like, how can NFL pull that off? Right? How does the NFL pull that off?
I guess they're that popular. They kind of make their own rules. Kind of like some of the politicians, where this is the rules for everybody else, but this isn't the rules for me.
I can fly back to my own constituency and go see my family on holiday, then fly back. But everybody else,
no Thanksgiving for you.
Yeah.
I think the NFL is that big. I think they kind of.
I still wonder what happens after November 3rd, after the election with COVID, and whether things lighten up after that. How much of it is...
Or intensify.
I don't know. Wow.
Hey, on a side note, for the listeners, our parents butchered 25 chickens, and we, 3 of us, the 4, one guy in here didn't show up.
Yeah. Some of us have to work for a living, so, just...
I just heard Harley was scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Scared.
One of us did
Scared,
show up on
he says.
time, and the other two didn't. So
I got to eat one of those. I got to eat
I had
one
a
of
major
those
phone
chickens
call to
last
Gully.
night.
you got a chicken out of that deal? I
No,
still
no, no,
haven't
no,
got a
no. I
chicken.
went out to Mom and Dad's for supper. It was
Oh.
delicious.
You
Was
got
it really
invited?
good?
Yeah. I
Was
got
it one of the
invited
ones
out
I
to-
plucked?
Yeah,
Is
there
it-
was a little
is it
bit
the
of
one
hair
I-
left on it. Yeah.
Is it the one I chopped the head off?
It tasted good. It tasted
So
like.
you got invited to Mom and Dad's for supper for the first chicken, eh?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Golden child.
Yeah.
Golden child for sure.
Golden child.
Well, not the bird man. He ain't getting it. He didn't show up to do it.
I
The
was
guy who
late.
showed up there the longest sure didn't get invited for the first chicken supper.
Just not a lot of appreciation for the guy cutting the heads off. Eh?
Yeah, that's true. Dirtiest job.
Somebody's got to do it.
I still got blood on my boots from that.
You know, Kobe will hate me if I don't bring up the NBA. He's probably swearing at the radio dial right now as we do because none of us really watch the NBA that much.
Well, I watched. I'll bring it up later, but I watched LeBron carry his trophies around for 10 minutes. But
The thing that I find so hard for my brain to kind of comprehend is when NBA superstars win, and maybe it's just LeBron because that's the one who just happened. They like to lean and they like to. And who is forgetting the guy who was playing in Cobes? I apologize for not remembering his name, but they win the big game. And then he just kind of leans on the side and he's tired, and all the guys come and pat him on the back. And I'm like, what the hell is that? You just won a game. No, you don't. You're not tired. Who's tired after winning a big game? I like Mookie Betts in baseball. He makes the big catch, hits a home run, steals a base, and he is fired up.
like stealing bases for tacos. Eh? Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, because when he stole the base, everybody, I think it's October 28th, everybody gets a free taco from, what's the place called? Not Taco Time. What's the other place called?
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. There's a free pitch for Taco Bell.
You think Mookie Betts? All I'm getting at is why is it that
He's having a good time, Sean.
one
I
of
think
the
that's what
best
Jay's
players in? Yeah, I know.
saying. Hey, look! I
Here's-
just won a
here's-
championship. I'm so tired.
I'm so
Woo!
tired. Oh, it's hard to stand up, man. It's like, come
Work.
on.
There's part of it goes back to the NBA, and you've got a handful of guys, and they're stacking teams, and so it becomes.
What the hell does that have to do with if I stack the team with the best players? I got them all. I got LeBron. I got
Sounds like the Dusty Man right now.
yeah. Well, we can't get to Sunday, so
I know everybody's stacking teams.
Okay, I'll answer this question. Basketball players are wusses, and that includes Kobe Man.
yeah.
I
Well,
think that is the answer to the question you're just asking. Is they're just wusses?
did
I-
anybody watch the Lakers win the championship?
I did, yes. And I just, for me, it just blew me away because I watched Lightning win. And so, you got Stamkos out there who's played 5 shifts the whole playoffs. You know, did score a goal, but, you know, he goes up there and gets the cup. He turns around, probably lifts it up for 2 seconds, hands it to the next guy, who hands it to the next guy, who hands it to the next guy. Then they all gather around, get a team picture, and it's the whole team. And in the NBA, LeBron won the MVP, and then they had him the trophy. And he talks for 5 minutes congratulating the other guy that was the good player. Like, they had more than one good player on the team, but he congratulated one other guy. And then while the other guy was talking, he grabbed his MVP trophy and the NBA championship trophy, one in each arm, and walked around with it for like 10 minutes. It was the craziest thing I seen. It was like the rest of them didn't exist. And they said Rondo is one of the best point guards in the NBA. It doesn't get mentioned. Nobody cares. There's no team picture. I feel like I'm missing something there.
You know, thinking back to like NHL, what really strikes me, you remember when Dougie Waite won with Carolina and his shoulder was buggered, and he carried around the Stanley Cup with a buggered shoulder and he could hardly lift the frickin' thing. But he lifted it. And he skated around for his 2 minutes. Whereas if you're in the NBA and you're on the bench, you just get to look at LeBron carry him around.
I think
Jimmy Butler, before we hop any further, because Kobe's sitting there swearing at the thing. Jimmy Butler was a guy from Miami Heat I was thinking of. He was
He
talented.
played his bag off. And I
Yep.
bet you Jimmy Butler, for me, I'm not saying it's every NBA guy. Because the Toronto Raptors, the year
Yeah.
they won, they were a
Kawhi.
team.
Yeah,
and they did have Kawhi, but they were a team. And I bet you if Jimmy Butler won, I bet you he gets all that team together and there's a big picture. But with LeBron, it's and I mean the first thing LeBron's talking about is maybe everybody will show me some respect now. And
Show him respect.
yeah,
Like he's being talked about as one of the greatest players of all time.
I don't know. I think there'd be a lot more respect as if he'd grabbed the championship, walked over, give it to another guy, I mean, it's not like he's never
if
won
he
one before.
realized that it was a bigger moment for some of the guys who this is going to be their only time and their first time, instead of thinking about himself.
I'm just saying, it was totally obvious after watching the Lightning versus
Ray Bork, Colorado, right? Sakic didn't even lift the cup. He just handed it straight off to him, right? That's what you're dealing against. When you're talking about guys like LeBron, right, who go,
And don't get me wrong, LeBron's a great player.
No. LeBron's
absolutely.
one of the
top
greatest.
5 all time.
Yeah,
top
Sure.
5.
Absolutely.
Guys, how many league finals has he been to? It's something.
10
Yeah.
of the last 14
It's,
with like 3 different teams.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You put him on your team, you go to the finals. Is
Yeah.
pretty much what it is. What did you think? We talked a little bit about it last time. What did you think of the extra teams getting in the NHL or baseball? Now that you've
I
seen
love
that?
all of it. I find playoffs to be more exciting. You love to see the more games, the more opportunities for more teams. I understand the argument that the regular season means nothing, so I'm not saying that all 32 baseball teams get in the playoffs. But it is nice to see. I mean, I can remember when there wasn't it just the 2 division winners played each other, and then there was a World Series?
Well, you're a little bit older than the rest of us, Jay, so.
Might have been.
I tried calling him on
Actually, I believe that's
Roberts?
how it was.
Yeah, Dave Roberts.
Dave Roberts.
He's
We started this off with whether Dave Roberts was on the 2004 Boston Red Sox. Now, baseball fans are laughing at me because they probably all go, yeah, of course he was. But for the rest of us, the manager of the Dodgers right now is going, what? Not a chance. Of course, we look it up and we're wrong. So, you know what, Jay? You're probably right.
Jason's
Well, no,
probably
I
right.
just remember-
Probably the last time that happened was when Jay was 2, but he still remembers it.
No, I'm just saying, like, the baseball's slowly expanding. I mean, it used to be ridiculous. You'd have 162 games and hardly anybody make the playoffs.
But
and the playoffs are most exciting.
I enjoyed your interview with Tim McAuliffe, and he brought up, for nobody who knows what that is, Tim and Sid, Tim. But he was saying, right, the 162 games mean something if you're going to make the playoffs, right? So by having a shortened playoff window where there's only a few teams getting in, those teams have battled that far to get to this point where now there's only a few teams that are actually being in there, right? Compared to the NHL, right, or the
Whatever.
NFL.
I mean,
I'm just gonna say-
no, but whatever. So first of all, if you still have 4 teams on each division making it, you still have 3 or 4 teams not making it. You're still battling and making something. You're still getting the right to play in the playoffs. I think that's just a number.
The only thing I'll say is I enjoy the fact that every different league does it a little bit differently, and so there's a little bit of, not every league does it the exact same, right? So I hate baseball for the fact that, how many years was Toronto going against Boston and New York and couldn't ever get past them because their payroll was outrageous, right? But they were right in the hunt all the way right till the very end and couldn't quite squeeze in, right? And so to have a bit of a playoff, that's where, back in those days, I would have loved to have seen it, right?
I will say this. I think you can have too few, like baseball used to have. I also think you can have too many. And what the NHL, if they go to 24 teams, is I think they have too many. You might as well hand out a participation trophy to every fucking team.
Fuck off with the participation trophy.
You have
still
to
gotta
earn
go
your
through-
way into the playoffs. You're talking
You gotta
about
go
more
through
than
a
50,
gauntlet.
Are we
You're
talking about playoffs?
You're talking about more than 50% of the teams making the playoffs, which means the regular season doesn't matter.
Listen, you got a league where the difference between success and failure is like this thin little line nobody can see. The 16th team not the 16th team, the 8th place team has won the cup like twice in the last 10 years. The fuck are we talking about?
Sure. And
What's
they have
that?
to earn their way in.
You're going to have to earn your way in if you're the 24th team. What are you
24
talking
out
about?
of 32. You're talking about 3/4 of the team making the playoffs.
You still got to battle through all the games. I'm not saying all the teams got to play all this. Why can't you have a similar thing that happened this time? Weren't you happy the first game the Oilers in? They're playing. I mean, it would have been nice
You know
if
what?
they
The
could have beat
Oilers would
Chicago.
have been in the playoffs because they earned their way in
Hey, I tell
this
you what,
year.
they got to beat the Chicago Blackhawks. They were dog shit. Oh,
Yeah, and they lost.
and the Chicago Blackhawks
Like I
walked
said,
in
I
and
don't
owned
care.
them.
I don't care for 24 of the 32 teams. It's 3/4 of the teams.
I agree with Dustin
too
on
many.
this one.
So
I
put
agree
it.
with
So
Dust.
put it at 20, Dust. put a little
Why-
wild card in there.
16
Why?
is half the teams.
I do find the wild card night exciting. See, I'd actually like to go to 20 and then have like a one game take all to
One
get
game
into the
winner
playoffs.
gets in, and the bottom 4. So your 7, 8 play the 9, 10. Winners hop in, and away you go. How does
just
that?
talking about 24?
How? Like,
How about this? Wouldn't this be interesting? If
So what do you want, Sean? 24 or 20?
I want more teams in. I don't like.
Why don't we just do all 32 then?
Listen, in baseball.
Why don't we just do all
in
32?
baseball?
Why
it probably
stop there?
wouldn't work.
there's only
Hey,
31
wait.
right now, Dust.
In baseball, it wouldn't work because in baseball you got with no salary or limited salary cap, whatever the hell they're calling it.
Luxury tax.
Thank you. You got teams that are just way better and way worse. But in the NHL,
Hey,
you got
I'd love to
Sean,
see Detroit
Sean,
and
it's only
Ottawa
one.
have a playing game.
you're like, what are you talking about?
What
They're
I'm
your
saying
worst
is, why do you
teams.
stop at
I'm
20?
not-
Why do you stop at 24? Why don't you go all 32?
Oh, maybe we should go to 8 then and just have the top 4 out
like
of
I
each
said,
side.
half the teams
Hey?
is about right. That's the way it's been. It works
Who
pretty well.
invited this guy? You know,
Pretty sure you did.
gonna silence his mic here pretty quick.
I know. I'm with you, Sean. I like 20. I understand where Dust is coming from. You don't want, too many, but I think it'd be exciting, and so
I think
it does reward the top teams because they don't got to play
Get
in
rid
that
of-
one
get
game.
I think it
why
would be
even have a
exciting.
regular season? Just have playoffs. Every team make it.
No.
Have
I
a
mean, your regular
15
season
game
still
You're
series.
going
decides
off
your
the
top
you're
or your
going
bottom.
off the deep end. You're trying to stir it, and you're stirring pretty hard right now. I'm saying knock off 10, 15 regular season games. Go down to like a 60, 65 regular, and now you end a little earlier. Now you add in a couple playoff rounds. Doesn't matter if Edmonton's not going to get past first round. We're in the playoffs. You kidding me? The place is going to go nuts. It's a wild card game, man. The place is going to go ape shit. And then you got viewership. It sells to the NHL. It sells to across the world because it's a one-game winner
Tell
take
you what,
all.
you don't get
Everybody
fans in
would
the
love
stands, and
that.
it's not going to matter. So
How much did you tune in when number 24 was playing number whatever this year and it started at 10 in the morning? Everybody says, in our area, their favorite games were the 10 in the mornings. It was like, man, I was sitting at work, flicked on the screen, or I was
Pretty
Saturday
sure without
afternoon.
COVID on, you're not going to have a 10 o'clock in the morning Tuesday game.
I don't know. Maybe that's part of the wild card weekend. Maybe you have a wild card weekend and away we go.
Hey, if you want to do in the wild card, you got the same amount of games as your regular 16 first round, and you could do it that way anyhow.
I think what you're trying to say is there's so many teams that are so close in points that having that play in is not going to affect that much because there's so many teams that are so close to making it. So to, compromise on both of your sides.
I'm not
If there is a differential of greater than
compromise.
5 points or 10 points, I don't know what the number is. There's no play in. But if
Oh, you can't.
there's
Oh,
so
you
many-
can't.
you're getting
Come
it too
on.
far now.
Harley wants a new
God.
nickname.
Oh, hey.
We're going to start calling him the mediator.
You take the percentage of the points of the 8th place team compared to the points.
Hey, it
of
could
the
be exciting,
12th place
Dust. It
team,
could-
and if
it
it's
could be
within
exciting, Dust.
5 percentage points, maybe
Could be
you
exciting.
don't have the plan.
Could be exciting, Dust.
How
Who's
about
the engineer here? Anyhow, aren't I the numbers guy? Anyhow, carry on.
I don't know. Some days we wonder, Dust.
Well, sometimes I wonder.
Go
myself.
50-50. Yeah, well, you're talking numbers, Dust.
Best who's
50-50.
Let's go to the NHL offseason. Can we go to the NHL offseason? Can we get Dust off this? All
Sure.
32 teams make it after my life. Who are the winners and losers? Who do you think in the offseason maybe had a best signing, worst signing?
I love the trade that Columbus got Max Domi for Josh Anderson. I mean, Anderson hardly was even playing for Columbus. They're making the playoffs, and now they've just added a guy they legitimately could be a 60-point
How did Josh
guy.
Anderson get that contract?
I
Like
have
that
no
is
idea.
way too much money for way too long for what Josh Anderson is.
I liked a lot of what Montreal did, but I really don't understand that contract.
That boggles my mind.
I know.
I saw it came across the ticker, and I'm like, what the?
You know what's the funny thing about Montreal is you look at that team and you go, yeah, everybody's talking, oh, yeah, they've improved. They're going to be this tough team, right? They're like a year removed from being, oh, God, look at that lineup with that much money. And you have Gallagher injured half the time, and Carey Price injured, and Shea Weber's 40.
Just to poke my in here.
And Josh Anderson's still a 10-goal guy.
Josh
30
Anderson
30
signed
games.
a massive 7-year, $38.5 million contract.
Like,
That's
why 7 year?
5.5 every year per season.
How
That's
do you
what you're
sign that guy to 7 years? It
I have no
boggles
idea.
my mind.
Yeah, 7
In
years
fact,
is-
with COVID going on, I don't know how you sign anyone long term. I don't know how they signed Markstrom in Calgary for that long.
No, I understand. It's just that with the goaltending,
And he's a decent goaltender.
you think
don't
you're
get
going
me
to have
wrong,
him, yeah. The same
But-
with Leonard, right?
But I just
And-
don't see him signing for that long.
Hey, and just to give the audience a bit more understanding of why everyone's so hard on Josh Anderson, because if you just think of the guy, he's the big forward, up and coming.
Power forward, yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
2 years ago, he played 82 games, played every single game, had 27 goals, 20 assists for 47 points.
Not
last
bad.
last year in 2019-20, he played 26 games with a goal, 3 assists for 4 points.
And before the 47-point game?
He played 63 games, 19 goals, 11 assists, and the year before he had 17 goals.
So how do you give him that long of a
It's
contract?
a lot of
that
money
much
for a guy that's a,
They
probably
must
a
think they
20,
know
25
something,
goals guy
right?
that stays healthy.
Maybe he has an ego problem, and the coach in Columbus, just beat him up mentally
Tortorella.
or something. Wouldn't be the first time Tortorella's done that.
Yeah, true.
Tortorella does some good things to some players, but I think with the certain type of guys, they can't handle his style of in your face kind of.
Okay, so I got a question about, because we're talking about Bergevin, who's the GM for Montreal, right?
Yeah.
Everybody beat him up when he picked up Shea Weber,
Sure.
right? Because of the amount of years versus in the term, right?
Yes.
Versus PK.
Yeah.
Anybody,
I was one of them.
Anybody beating him up for that trade anymore?
No. It actually turned out
No,
all right.
because look at where PK's gone.
Yeah.
And that's I mean,
And I don't blame him for the Drouin versus Sergachev. I mean, he gave up a great piece in Sergachev, but I know what he was trying to do. I mean, Drouin was a 3rd overall pick who's a native of Quebec, right? So I understand that one.
Yeah.
He just goes and signs his heart and soul Gallagher. He's got the best goalie, one of the top 5 goalies still
But
in the
you
league.
didn't.
Gallagher was after Anderson, though, too, right?
Yeah, he was.
The thing I don't get is with Anderson, the year he's coming off of, there's no way his camp should be able to demand that much term and that much money.
Yeah, I don't understand it. I agree with you.
You should be able to get him for cheaper.
Actually,
than
one of
that.
the best signs I thought was the Oilers getting Barry for 3 and what was
Yes.
it, 3.75 or something, 3.5.
Yeah.
for the year.
I actually really like what the Oilers did outside of Smith.
Yeah, and my argument for Smith is I think the Oilers were looking at some other goalies. They just happened to sign everywhere else.
I think that they
Calgary
thought,
outbid him for Markstrom,
Yes.
so you're just saying you didn't like that contract.
No, it was far too
and
long.
so Edmonton was bidding in on Markstrom and didn't
Yeah.
go there. So Holland made a good move there. In your
Well,
mind.
because if they had gotten Markstrom, we'd all be talking like we are about the Canadians and Anderson. You ready to give?
Yeah, no,
you
no,
ready
no.
to give Markstrom what the Flames gave him?
From what I was under the understanding is Edmonton thought that they had Markstrom, and so that was the only goalie that they were going after. And so by the time that they realized they were out, a lot of them other goalies were already gone, or they didn't really want them.
And I agree with
right?
you. I agree with you 100%, Charles. I guess the other thing I want to point out though, was Talbot a big upgrade over Mike Smith? We've had Talbot. Is he that big of an upgrade?
No. Here's the thing.
Is Thomas Grease?
Is
They
if
talk
you
about
look
Grease
at the
playing in.
stats for Mike Smith last year, and you look at the top 62 goalies or whatever it is for last year, he was one of the bottom out of all the starters and backups, and he turns 39 this year. There's no way there's any upside to him left, and there's no way you should re-sign that guy. And when you go, well, who should we have signed? I don't care.
No.
The
That's
wait,
a legitimate question. You can't say I don't care.
Let me finish because
come
I'm not
on.
done. I would sign the
I
top.
don't care if you're not done. I don't gotta let you finish. But anyways,
Let me finish. Mike Smith should not be coming back. You can sign the top goalie out of the KHL. You can sign the top goalie out of the Swedish Elite League. You sign someone
I
other
love a
than Mike
guy.
Smith.
I love a guy
so-
making decisions for your team who doesn't know who he's going to sign, but he's not going to sign that guy.
There's no way Mike Smith should be on your radar.
How did
Zero.
the Oilers do last year? Just asking.
Was it Mike Smith that got him there?
He did.
You
Well,
forget you've got two of the top players in the game.
did
The
start game
goaltender
one.
didn't help.
I tell you what.
He's
How about
part of
this? How about this?
Hey,
you
Dust,
want
you're
to
yelling.
sign the top goalie of the KHL?
And he just buries the
Sure.
scotch.
Okay.
Koskinen's better than Mike Smith, and Koskinen wasn't even the top goalie in the KHL.
He was one of the top goalies. He was number 2. So you want to bring over a KHL goalie?
Sure.
How long ago did Koskinen come over?
Yeah, Koskinen was not bad right from the get-go, quite honestly.
And how many games did he play? Not very many. So now you're talking.
You got a number one goalie in Koskinen right now.
Okay, so you got a number. So now Mike Smith's your backup. You know what you're getting with him. You know he's good with
Yeah,
the
he's
guys. He
not
brings some
good.
professional. What? He's a backup goalie. You signed
He's
a
not
backup.
good.
You signed a backup goalie, Dust. Jimmy Howard didn't win a game last year. Did you know that?
Well, I didn't say sign Jimmy Howard because he's not any good either. What I'm saying
Yeah,
is,
but
you're better off
bring
rather
some
than
names to the table.
No, what I'm
Who are you
saying
gonna
is,
sign?
if you're going, your scouting staff should be looking at different places, and you need to find a younger guy for a year because Mike Smith is done.
I'll tell you what.
He's
Here's
absolutely
what
done.
I'm gonna.
He's not going to help
This
your
is
team.
why.
He's only going to make your team
Okay,
lose.
you've had your point.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So the reason I don't get upset about Mike Smith is because the value for him, it's not like if the way I look at things is somewhere down the road here, they're probably going to wind up trading and getting a goalie. And now Mike Smith is a third string goalie. You can sit him in the stands, and really, what have you really given up? A couple million for a guy that. And
Why did they sign him to $2 million? Was there anybody else bidding on him?
I'll agree with Dust.
He retires if you don't sign him.
I think they maybe overpaid for Mike Smith, which is weird to say because it's like you probably could have got him for $1 million. I don't know. Like, who's taking him? But I don't know the inside conversation. What I will agree with Jay on is so you had Markstrom. Did you want him by 6x6? Did you really want Markstrom 6x6?
I already told you I don't.
Okay. So then you go down the list and you go, okay, so who'd you get next? Braden Holtby?
Problem is,
he was already gone by the
Robin
time.
Leonard.
Robin Leonard?
the problem.
Already gone.
Okay, this is the problem.
I would have liked Marc-Andre Fleury. I've made my
Here's
point
the-
on that 100 times now.
Right.
That a nice trade for Marc-Andre Fleury would have fit, and then what happens? Robin Leonard's hurt, and now Marc-Andre Fleury's the starting goalie.
The
Something
problem
weird's
you
going on.
have is this: is if you have a player who's at the bottom of the league, meaning that he is actually hurting your team, and he's old and he's not going to improve. You have to go out and find someone else. And I don't care if it's a top goalie of the KHL or a goalie out of the KHL or a goalie of the Swedish Elite League or the top goalie of the AHL. You find a guy.
What's the benefits of signing Mike Smith? Do you know, Dust?
There is none.
Yeah, there is.
What? He's good in the room?
One, you only sign him for 1 year.
Sure.
So you didn't limit yourself. Two, you're arguing to your death over a backup goalie. Three,
He's going to play 30 games.
no, he's not, because it's going to be a shortened season. So
The problem you've got is
they're
your
talking,
head coach loves him.
Listen, he's not going to be your starter. He's going to be your backup. They're talking about a 48-game season. They're talking about him starting between 12 and 15 games. So you're losing your mind over something where Ken Holland went, hey, you know what? The top guys went. I didn't get them. The bottom guys are there. I know what I'm getting in Mike. He's not going to hurt my dressing room. He's professional, and it's only a 1-year deal, and next year we can move on, and we can see how the year Koskinen has. It's 12 games, Dust. It's 12 games. Sometimes you make more mistakes by trying to push. To go get the top guy from the KHL, guess what? You got to sign him to 2 or 3 or 4 years.
What's going to happen in a year?
Well, in a year, you're going to have more options again. You got to find something else. Just go out there and say, well, we got Thomas Greiss because he's better than Smith. Well, they talked about Greiss playing under Trotz with the Island. Trotz has a very good reputation for having the top goaltending coaches, and so his goaltenders always play better under him. And if you notice, when Trotz left Washington, Braden Holtby struggled. And they were talking about that. So you know, I agreed with you guys where I would have loved for them to have picked up somebody. I agree with Sean. Fleury would have been awesome because he would have had a burr under his saddle.
A burr under his saddle,
right?
And he's a fun-loving guy that everybody loves having around. And that's what the team needs. They need a little lighthearted.
I agree.
And even at his age, he's a stud, right? Like a guy comes in, he can win you some hockey games.
Right.
Got it fit. He
It
just
would've
plays
fit
for
great.
Vegas, same division, and everybody keeps telling me they wouldn't trade him, and it's like
My thought, go ahead, finish it.
Well, no, so I'm going to go to the next step because here's another guy you love. So they just signed Chris Russell for an extra year.
Yeah, that one.
Right?
You know what? I don't actually mind that.
But do you know why they signed Chris Russell?
I know why
So they can open him up to the expansion draft,
right? Because they have to leave somebody open up with so many games played.
And they paid him about what he's worth. Right. So I actually don't have a problem with the deal. I had a problem when they signed him 4 for 4 because that was too much money for him.
Right, but they only got a year left.
This deal is fine.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I think Ken Holland, what I like about Ken Holland is if he made some mistakes last year, right? Granlund didn't work out. Nocheck didn't work out, right? They didn't work out. But you know what? He didn't sign him to Josh Anderson 7 years.
Absolutely.
He didn't sign him. So if the worst mistake he made this year is bringing back Mike Smith, who goes 2-10 in the 12 games, that's the worst mistake
they miss
he
the
made.
playoffs because they're not.
But I'll be honest. I mean, with a shortened season like that, my guess is if he starts off struggling like that, you're going to just see Koskinen run with it.
The other thing too is it's not like the rest of Edmonton is stagnant, right? They brought in tourists. They've brought in
hell.
some of these
Well,
other guys.
let's be
I think
very,
the Oilers
very
have gotten
Before we
clear.
better.
move on to everyone else, because I like
And Barry.
I like everything else.
Holland
they
did a fantastic
They did.
job.
Let me finish on Mike Smith. I got one more comment on this. Is if a guy, you talk about, you know him, he's in the dressing room, whatever. If a guy isn't helping your team anymore, and he's not, he's 39 this year, and he was not good last year. If that is the case, let me finish, Harley. If that is the case, you might as well go look for another guy who can go in that role, even if he's a complete unknown, because the complete unknown guy could turn out to be the guy next year. Whereas next year, Mike Smith is not in the picture, which means you're going to have to go find a guy anyhow. You might as well take a lottery pick from somewhere and bring him in and see if it works out. Because he's not going to be any worse than Mike Smith.
Can I just say this? Everybody's ragging on Mike Smith pretty hard. He started in the playoffs for us this year. Because
that was a problem because he's not good enough.
What are you talking about? I remember thinking Mike Smith should probably probably start. Like he looked pretty good. And then he dropped the ball in the first game, and you went, well.
That's another reason why I don't like him,
maybe.
is because the head coach still has thoughts of him from back in Phoenix days when he was at the top of his game.
I'm just telling you that had nothing. Like, what are you talking about?
What I'm saying is Tippett remembers him from his best days, and so
sure.
He has a higher
he has a very good relationship with him.
He has a
I'll
higher
give you that.
opinion of him than
but
he
I'm
actually
saying,
is at
as
this
a
moment.
fan watching the games, I don't got a prior relationship to Arizona. I watched him. Went, he should probably start. He did start. And then he dropped the ball, and you went, he probably shouldn't have started, right? That's what I'm saying.
But you know what? The Oilers won game 2.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a 1-1 series. It had nothing to do with Mike Smith after that.
That's true. No, I'm just saying he's not helping the team anymore, and he's 39. You might as well go take a lottery ticket on someone else who has a shot, because you never know when you're going to find the next Dominic Hasek laying around.
If this is the worst thing that's happened to the Oilers this year, we're okay.
Can we move on that, because I do like the rest of the Oilers signings.
Well, Tyson Barrie was a brilliant signing, right?
Yep.
Nice. You want to talk short? I heard. I want to say John Shannon. I'll give John Shannon a plug. I think it was John Shannon say the nice thing you're seeing out of Holland was he signs Barrie to 1 year, and instead of bringing him in for like 6 years, where now you're locked in and you don't know the guy, you don't know whether he's Mike Smith in the dressing room or not. Right? Gonna be a great guy.
Hey, don't knock the dressing room. That's all I got left in my career.
That is the truth.
You got Tyson Barrie. He's got something to prove. It's a short contract. I mean, if it had been $8 million, we all would have said it's only 1 year. Like, who cares? So the money, is a small amount, in my opinion, for what they're doing. But at the end of the day, you get to test drive the car. You get to bring him in. Here's a guy who can run your power play unit, number one. Play with McDavid, Draisaitl. What if they just absolutely light the lamp and he looks
and then you can't
unbelievable?
afford him next year?
Well, maybe. Or maybe at the trade deadline, you trade him.
No.
I mean,
I like the deal. I really do.
I think they do like the lamp. I think Barry's going to be better on that power play than Klefbom.
Oh, 100%
And they're all talking that, because it was the number one power play in the league, it can't be any better and it's going to go down. But I don't think I actually don't think it will. I think I know it should go down. I know all the reasons it should go down, but they're bringing everybody back and they're replacing Klefbom with Barry.
That wasn't even Holland's best move in this offseason. Puljujärvi was by far. He did not trade him for nothing. And Puljujärvi could still turn out to be nothing. He could still trade him for not a lot. But Puljujärvi still has the biggest upside of anyone they signed. He's young. He signed him for essentially nothing for a couple of years. And if he doesn't work out and they have to trade him or send him down, no big deal. But if he does turn around and end up scoring 40 or 50 points, that's absolutely massive.
So if Puljujärvi comes out and in the first, we're talking 48-game season, so in the first 24 games, he's got 15 points.
Yeah.
Do you trade him?
Wow. I don't think so.
No.
Why would you?
I don't know. I'm just asking. Do you trade him?
The thing is,
If he's got 20 points in the first 24 games, do you
the
trade him?
value will be there.
That's what I'm saying.
All depends on what you're getting back.
But that's what I mean. I'm not saying trade him for nothing. But if all of a sudden he's got 10 goals in the first 30 games, whatever it is, right? He's on pace for 25, 30 goals.
I tell you what, if he meshes it all, like I'm guessing he starts on the third line, but if he meshes it all with McDavid or Draisaitl, you're not trading the guy because he's cheap.
You pull a Drew N kind of deal, right? Where he tried to do the same thing, and then Drew N came back, started playing really good.
And everybody thought, he's here for long term, and out the door he went, and you went, you don't do that in Tampa.
Yeah, right. That's what I think. I think if they can get him going and they get him on a pace of a 25, 30 goal pace and they can flop him for...
Okay, sure. If you can get decent value of it, sure. But I don't know.
Well,
if
it's
he will.
been the knock on the Oilers forever. They always sell when they're in the bottom, right?
Well, I tell you what. No
They
matter,
got no
even
options.
if they did that, it was still the best deal that Hall made all
100%,
summer.
yeah.
100%.
Because he
Yeah.
brought
Yep.
in a guy that
Yeah,
would
yeah.
have just walked.
Turris
nothing.
Turris was a nice deal.
Barry is a nice deal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one guy I wish they signed.
Taylor Hall?
No. No, actually, it wasn't
Actually,
Taylor
I think
Hall.
that was probably the best deal throughout
Wait,
the entire
Let me
thing.
finish the Oilers here first. The one guy I was hoping they signed was Mikko Koivu because I thought he would be a good fit for dressing room, veteran, two-way player, hardworking. You know, he's old, but I thought
they worried
it'd just
about
be
his
a nice
skating.
Fit. No, I know. I just thought he'd be a
The guy
a
I
good
don't like.
fit.
The guy I wanted them to sign was Cody Eakin.
Nah,
A
see, I
little
don't
more
like Koivu.
sandpaper. You know, he's in Vegas to the run Stanley Cup final run there.
I'm just
You
a
know,
big Mikko Koivu
Mikko
fan.
Koivu ain't far off old Mike Smith for age there,
Yeah,
Dust.
Mikko Koivu
For
brings
a
more
guy
than
who
Mike
just
Smith.
about fell over the table.
He's 37.
Yeah, I
eh?
know, and he had a better year
All
last year.
I heard about
Mikko
Mike Smith,
Koivu
he's
was
39. He's 39. He dog shit.
No, but he was awful last year, Sean. Mikko Koivu was all right last year. He wasn't
was Mikko
spectacular, but he
Koivu all
was
right last year?
Four goals, 17 assists, 21 points.
He was lights out. Hey,
What did the Oilers' third and fourth line centers put up? And remember, Mikko Koivu at least has a defensive bone in his body too.
oh, let's add another Riley Sheahan to the mix. Maybe he can score 5.
Yeah, Mikko Koivu is Riley Sheahan.
So I think Taylor Hall was the best signing out of it all, only because you take one of the worst teams in the league, and by adding Taylor Hall, they might be a middle of the pack type team.
Well, actually, you look at their top 6 now because they added Eric Stahl. So
Right.
now they got Stahl and Eichel down the middle. They added Taylor Hall. They re-signed Sam Reinhart. They've got Jeff Skinner there. Like they're starting to put together something where you go,
Yep.
And then you got Cody Eakin, right? Now he's, little sandpaper in the third line. And my guess is he's going to score 4 goals this year. Maybe me and Dust should put something on that.
Cody Eakin?
Yeah, I think Cody scores 4. He matches Mikko.
Taylor Hall will do well in Buffalo.
I agree. I think Taylor Hall's, if he doesn't get injured, I think Taylor Hall could have one of his best years because he's only on a 1-year deal, so he's got lots to prove. And Eichel is tired of losing, and they are going to run the table.
According to Graham Murray, though, Buffalo has got to be one of the worst shit cities out of the entire league. Like he said, there is nothing going on in Buffalo.
Okay, well, shout out to Brian Zwawa because I went there for his wedding. Buffalo was the first city that I went, industry has just left. They just got, it's a city where you drive through or you go on the boat on the outside and you're cruising the waterfront and it is like big, giant warehouses that are all abandoned. Like it's
What
different.
Lloyd Mister's going to look like in 5 years now at Synovus.
Kind of almost.
Isn't it there already?
It isn't there. It can always get worse, Dust. Don't go down that road.
Kind of like Detroit. Detroit's very much the same way, right? They had 65 sky rises, I think, that were all abandoned back in the 70s or something like that, and they're all still standing, right? Like, it can get worse. It can always get worse.
I think the 90s.
90s?
Can we talk? Wait, we bring up Synovus. Do you want to talk about that or not?
Sure, fire away.
Well, long term, is that a bad thing then?
Well, I guess long term we're just going to find out, right? I don't know if anybody knows. Everybody has fear of change. People fear change.
Let everybody know what happened.
Well, Synovus bought out Husky. They're saying Q1 that Synovus takes.
It's done.
Yeah, that's done. Right, so we're a couple,
I think
3
we're
months
in
away
for
from
another
that?
round of layoffs. That's
sure.
my guess.
For sure we are. For sure we are.
That's what hurts. And what everybody's worried about is if Synovus runs it more out of Calgary, then you got less people working in Lloyd, right? And you get a subtraction there too.
And it's not going to be the low end of the totem pole, right? It's going to be the top paying. Those jobs are not here anymore, right? Those upper echelon jobs that pay well, and so those people, that money is now leaving the city.
What's the old saying? In tough times, you want to be closest to the wellhead?
Yep. That's true.
Or a chemical rep.
Shout out to Baker. How about the rest of the NHL? I think of maybe the Vegas Golden Knights. I don't know.
I still don't
Signing
like what they did with
Pietrangelo.
We're gonna find
Pietrangelo.
out here in the next 6 months, or you know what I mean? Like, you know, you love Pietrangelo. So did St. Louis take Krug over him just because of money? Like,
Quite honestly, I didn't
like
like
$1.5 million a year, was that? Because it's not like they only signed Krug for 2 years; they signed him for 7. So what was it that was it just the $1.5 million that they got rid of their captain and been with the team for 12 years and won a cup with them, and that's it? It seemed that just seems strange to me. So what am I missing? Is it $1.5 million?
Well, the funny thing about Krug too is that he's not going to fill the same role as Pietrangelo.
No.
Because Krug
Pietrangelo thought
is
he
an offensive guy, and Pietrangelo is kind of a two-way guy.
Yeah,
From the story I read, Pietrangelo had full intentions of going back to St. Louis. There was no talks, but he said I was fully planning on re-engaging, right? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he finds out about Krug.
Once again, here's the numbers, okay? So Torrey Krug signs a 7-year deal worth $45.5 million with St. Louis Blues. That's $6.5 million per year. Pietrangelo signs a 7-year deal with the Vegas Golden Knights worth $61.6 million at 8.8. You're saving yourself 2.3, and in the cap world, 2.3 is an awful lot, isn't it?
See, the thing I don't get about Vegas is how they became successful.
Was not doing that.
Was exactly not doing.
And
that.
they had they still
what
got
they
the team.
did was they found guys where they could find value, not long term, not for too big of contracts, and that's how they became successful.
Almost a Moneyball style.
Moneyball style, absolutely, where they looked for upside. And on this deal,
well, and they played off of teams, and got they worked teams and got what they got. They were in the drive. I felt like they were in the driver's seat the entire time, and then they start making deals like this, and you go, you're playing in everybody's game.
Absolutely.
Because at 8.8. That's a contract that.
Well, they got Stone there. What's he at 9.5? Like, all of a sudden they're starting, and you got Pacioretty there.
Right?
What's Pacioretty at 7?
Yeah.
Well, and what kind of a message are you sending to your dressing room in St. Louis, right? Like, now you're bringing in, a young guy, but you're paying him well, but he's not going to be the same guy that Pietrangelo was.
Yeah,
right?
Mark Stone is at $9.5 million. 7 years left. Pacioretty is at $7 million, 3 years left. And then, of course, the big one, Pietrangelo, 8.8, and then
and your goalie tandem.
And your goalie tandem now at $12 million with Marc-Andre Fleury and Robin Lehner for $5 million.
So now you're hamstringed.
Well, I think so. That's why when we go back to who the Oilers should get for a goaltender, my argument was and still is Marc-Andre Fleury. That's $7 million. They need to get off. He only got 2 years left. But it's in division. Now, if there's a Canadian division, all of a sudden it's not in division anymore. And all of a sudden, I like Marc-Andre Fleury. I feel like it's just a nice little fit for the Oilers. But maybe I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, you're wrong.
I'm wrong, eh? I don't know.
Although my daughter would love it. And actually, she might become an Oiler fan if he ever played for the Oilers because he's the flower.
I don't know. I tend to go with Sean on that one. I thought Fleury would be a great fit there.
You know what? If they had half a salary, I would have been okay with it.
Yeah.
You're not eating $7 million.
No. Well,
No. But they were going to eat 50%. $3.5 million for 2 years.
They were going to throw in a third-round pick or a second-round pick. I would have taken that, too.
I would have taken that deal with no picks, and all I do is they just give them to me. Just give them to me, and you give me whoever you want.
Take Mike Smith.
Thinking about St. Louis and
sure.
And
I tell you what, right now, Dust. If that's what the deal was, here's Mike Smith. We'll take Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah, sure.
Thinking about St. Louis and
easy deal.
When they won the cup, what won them the cup that year? To me, it was their size, right? They ground on teams, right? They were a big team, and they were heavy, and they were hard, right? You
look at the top 3 lines when they won the cup.
Torrey Krug is not that. He is not that.
Yeah, but they don't need to have. When the Pittsburgh Penguins won the cup,
they didn't even have a defenseman.
That's right. Everybody
they
said the game was going to change. Everybody was gonna have
Like,
James.
name their defense score when they won it all. Like, it was not
Justin
great.
Schultz.
Yeah.
I think Letang was hurt that year.
Letang, I think, was hurt. They had
Oli Mata.
I think Oli Mata was
Dumoulin.
there. Yeah, Dumoulin. Yeah.
Like, their defense
Maybe
score
was there maybe a guy like Ben Lovejoy or something?
Ben
possibly.
Lovejoy,
How many of those teams though are gonna win with a defense core like that? Not many.
Oh,
There
just
is
the
not
Pittsburgh
many.
Penguins. Hey.
I'm just saying. You go to St. Louis and you say that they won by being this. Well, I don't know. Pittsburgh won it one way. Tampa won it this year a different way.
I tell you what, most teams have deep. They don't have one guy. They don't have one line. They got a number of lines that can play. Why did Pittsburgh win?
And a good
They had
goaltender.
3 of the top players in the league playing on 3 different
I'll agree with
lines.
Dustin here.
And
Mike
away they
Smith
went.
probably isn't the goalie to lead you to the Stanley Cup. I'll give you that.
I just still go to though. During the season, I foresee Edmonton trading to get a goalie. I still do.
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Are we still talking about the backup goalie for the Edmonton Oilers?
Oh, yeah.
You know what? You know what I don't understand about Vegas and Nate Schmidt is I go, Peter Angelo, sure, I think he's probably better than Nate Schmidt. But Nate Schmidt was on a much lower contract and a much shorter contract.
4.9,
And you go back to Jay's argument about Mike Smith being in the dressing room. Nate Schmidt had
has
been
in the
there,
dressing room.
3 years.
Yeah.
and you've been that close. Why the hell would you change that?
I don't know.
Why the hell would you mess with that?
Why would you put more money out for a guy that's a little bit better? I just and that much longer contract. I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me because as soon as I saw Nate Schmidt going
Well,
to
they also-
Vancouver, and everybody says they won't deal in conference, I'm going, Oilers should pick that
Yeah,
up.
but it's not only that. They not only did they get rid of Nate Schmidt, but they also got rid of Paul Stastny too.
Yeah.
Right, because they had to free up the cash. So then they lost one of their main centermen, too, second-line center. So you lost 2 guys for. So it'd be like trading Peter Angelo for Paul Stastny and Nate Schmidt, right?
Yeah.
How about Jumbo Joe? Let's the old
really
ageless wonder.
I like that signing a
Dust
lot.
doesn't like too many old signings, but he likes Jumbo Joe. So let's
I tell you what, for 1 year for League Min, for a guy that can play on your power play and
He might not get 4 goals, but he'll get a few assists. Right?
yeah. Well, he was never a goal scorer, Jay. So.
No, he wasn't.
A little side note to all of this is pretty impressed with him for going to Switzerland, who apparently he has his own passport for Switzerland, so it's actually not counted as
an import.
No. But he's going over and playing for free in Switzerland until the NHL starts. That's a tip
for
of the
league
cap to the
minimum.
guy.
He put up 24 points last year. That's what he did. Oh no, that's a lie. 31 points, 7 goals, 24 assists, 31.
And how many
points.
games?
70.
Yeah. He's now a 4th line, second power play guy. But in a pinch could go to. But like with Toronto,
The only thing,
And he was
is
born in 79. Dust.
Yeah, he's old.
you could be still playing in the show, Dust.
Yeah, wow. My bum knee.
Right? I always used to say, as long as Yager's there, I still had a shot. As soon as he retired, I was screwed.
The only thing I love about bringing him in is some more veteran leadership, right? You've got a guy that is going to help with some of your younger guys, right? Especially making league minimum.
But they had Patrick Marleau.
I actually like Jumbo Joe, but more than Patrick Marleau. But
Do you realize
he might not have been as vocal, though. Marleau might not have been as vocal. I don't know.
Do you realize that Patrick Marleau, if he stays healthy this season, will pass Gordie Howe for all-time games played?
All-time games played.
really,
Yeah.
That's why I'm pretty sure San Jose signed him. Throw him on the 4th line, plays every game until he
San
gets that
Jose's not
record.
going to be good again, are they?
No.
They
like
rode
what-
that horse
no.
far
What
too
do they
long.
got?
Yeah.
Couture, Vander Kane, LeBanc,
Burns.
Carlson. I mean, if Burns and Carlson ever figured it out in the back end, they actually could be decent. Because they got Vlasic, too. Like, their back end's actually pretty solid. I don't know who their backup goalie is, though. Probably could have used Mike Smith.
They
Yeah,
just got
almost all
Dubnyk.
Yeah.
Like they got Dubnyk.
And they got Martin Jones still, don't
That's
they?
yeah. No. Yeah.
Isn't it Martin
Right?
Jones, right?
Martin Jones and
Yeah, they
Dubnyk.
got
Yeah,
actually a
that's right.
1 and a 1 and B or whatever, eh?
1A, 1B.
Yeah. They're actually set to go. Dark horse to make the playoffs, especially if there's 24 teams make it.
Fuck my life.
Let's switch to MLB for a sec here. I can't remember. Have we talked about Dodgers
No.
T-Bay last night?
No.
How much fun was that?
That was unbelievable.
Like, of all the sports during this COVID where no fans or limited fans or whatever is going on, is baseball not been... I can't speak for the player atmosphere, how that feels, but has baseball not been the best to watch?
I think, but it's in October like it's supposed to be, so it feels natural.
It feels natural.
And they do have some fans in the stands, right? Because they're in Texas. So there's, I don't know, what's in there, 20,000 people or something? 15,000 people? And even that amount of people, like you still got more than what Miami would normally have, right? For a Marlins game. So, I mean.
4 times over.
So, you still can hear the crowd, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's been the best.
Baseball playoffs, though, it just comes with its own pedigree, right? Like, I don't know. I'm not a big baseball guy for regular season, but as soon as the playoffs start, like, it might be one of the best, right? Like, one pitch and things can change in a real hurry. And that was a perfect example last night, right? LA's up 2-0. Guy comes up to the plate that is 2 for 15. His 2 hits have been home runs and ends up hitting a 3-run shot, right? Goes 3 for 16. Like,
the game was 4-2.
Unsung hero.
Just for all the fans
right?
out there, the game was 4-2, and he had a 3-run bomb.
Yeah, fair enough. Yes, sorry. The Arizarena or whatever his name is, right? A guy that got bought out at the start of this year. The Rays picked him up. He's making $90,000 this year and just set the franchise record for the most home runs in the postseason. As a rookie.
And did I not hear he's from Cuba?
Yeah,
Cuba. Yeah.
But played up through Mexico.
Yeah,
and then the minors, right? Yeah. Think about this. Yeah, I'd love to sit down with that guy. That guy's got
kind of reminds me of Sean Newman's career.
Minus the sitting in the World Series and all the home runs. Yeah,
but just the back and forth throughout that entire game, right? And then LA gets up by a run, and you're like, "There's no way," the final inning, and then the schmoz that happens,
and 2 outs,
and professional guys, and you still have a bobble, and you still have a misplay, and you still have a guy rounding third who does a barrel roll.
You still have an error.
Like, you still have the whole thing of what you literally...
He barrel rolled! Oh, my God! They missed the ball!
You could be watching a bantam game in town. Like, it was unbelievable. Well, I can't say bantam. What is it now? What is that, U15 or something?
Yeah, probably
U15. My apologies to all you bantam players out there.
Yeah. Well, at least you didn't say midget, Jay. Eh?
Or Tom Thumb, Dewey, Adam.
Yeah.
Mr. Stansfield, Jesse Stansfield, had thrown in a question. He always talks about discusses the NHL, MLB specifically, salary cap versus no salary cap. His question was, what would the NHL look like without a salary cap?
You know what's amazing? In the Major League Baseball, you look at Tampa Bay and their salary is
28
million
change.
The top 2 players off the Dodgers make almost as much as the whole Tampa Bay Rays team, and here they are 2-2 in the World Series.
Yeah.
What's funny in hockey is I actually think that it would kind of work out the same way if it was the same way, where you'd have lots of bottom teams would be crap, but there'd be some team in the bottom
There's
that
always
would
that team.
figure it out.
Yeah. Good drafting or whatever.
Good drafting, great scouting, some good analytics to throw in there to mix it all up.
Of
And
course,
all of a sudden they
Dust
come out.
would say analytics, eh?
Well, I'm probably not signing Mike Smith, that's for sure.
No, I wouldn't be signing Mike Smith. I'd find a much better option, like the guy Azarino. What was his name?
Arizarena?
Yeah, do you think they found him let's bring him up? He's a big name. No, they found him somewhere and said, you know what? He actually probably has some
you'd
good
like to hear a
stats
story
and
because
away,
it's probably backed right into, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll just take that guy.
No, that's
Nobody had
totally
any idea. Now he is
we can sign Mike Smith or this guy. Wow, Mike Smith's not the answer. Let's take a flyer on that guy, and he ends up freaking hitting a whole bunch of ding-dongs.
Yep.
There you go.
There we go.
But I think there would be the odd. It wouldn't be the Oilers for sure, because the Oilers would be garbage, I'm sure. But there'd be the odd NHL team.
But it used to work like that. I mean, Montreal, Toronto, New York Rangers.
New York Rangers spent a ton.
Flyers, I want to say.
Detroit Red Wings
Detroit.
spent a ton.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, back in them days, I thought Colorado and Dallas, too. That's why they were so good in the 90s, right? Because Colorado they had Sakic and Forsberg and Blake, and then they'd go pick up Bork and Patrick Waugh, and they just...
Yeah.
right?
Where
And
they
they became one of them top 6
Well,
or 8 teams.
Patrick Waugh. Oh yeah, you're right. No, let me think about that. No, you're right. You're right.
But I'm just it bothers me.
The thing about it is with baseball is the top, the high spending money teams are usually close to the playoffs, and the
Well, your
bottom
high-
teams
Well,
are
the
usually
problem in
not.
ba-
But there's the odd time where you get a guy,
Little
a
money
team
ball
that-
with Oakland.
I
Yeah.
tell you what,
Twins.
the problem in baseball is that only a fraction of the teams make it. You play
Should probably go about
162
50% of
games. You're probably smart spending the money so you have a shot, and people are going to fill the stands and buy some hot dogs. Because if you dog shit all year, 162 games, who gives a crap?
Apologies, Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, who's one of the longest serving teams of all
baseball
time.
should probably do is put about 50% of the teams in the playoffs. That'd be the smart thing to do.
I'm not sitting
Would
here.
be for me and Sean.
There's a docu-series on
I'd like
Netflix
to reach across
called,
the table and give old Dust a swat, is what I like to do.
called The Playbook, and one of the coaches in there is Jose Marino, who is one of the all-time winningest coaches in soccer in Europe. And
Does soccer let everybody in the playoffs?
Crickets.
I don't know, but no. What's funny about that is there's that team. Who's the team that a couple years ago who no one gave them a chance to do anything? They had like 5,000 to 1 odds that they win the whole thing, and they won the whole thing.
What team was that?
I'm trying to remember. Some soccer guy's I'm sure gonna tell us. But,
yeah, I can't remember. Yeah,
but they were like this small, like beyond small market. They weren't
Right.
even supposed to be there, and somehow they won the whole thing.
well, they were in the
true
relegation.
underdog.
They were in
Yes,
the relegation,
yes.
made relegation to move up the league,
Yeah.
and then ended up winning the entire title.
Yeah, and no one gave them a
And
chance.
No
They
one
were-
gave him.
Yeah.
Jose Marino went back to Portuguese because their national team was
Portugal. That's Portuguese is the language they speak.
Thanks, Dust. Anyways, so they go back. He goes back to Portugal because the team is dog shit. And what does he end up?
Italian.
What does he end up?
I sure like that French league.
Shoes are flying here, folks.
He goes back to Portugal though. Cans the entire team. Starts fresh, and he goes around to all the major junior teams and forms his team from all the different, not one professional player, and ends up winning the whatever European title over there with a bunch of junior players essentially. And he got to the point where the team was not what they were recognized for in that country. That country is a work hard first attitude, and that team had too many big name players that didn't try hard, and so they were actually losing fans, losing their national identity, and he brought it right back grassroots and ended up winning the European title.
So he didn't
with that
keep
team.
Mike Smith as his tender then?
Just so we're all clear, 14 of 26 teams make MLS playoffs.
That's about perfect, actually.
It's a little over 50%, Dustin.
Yeah, maybe one too many.
Man. NHL start up in January?
So at some point in January, I think. I don't know about January 1st, but sometime in January.
Do they start up if they aren't having fans?
I think they're going to have to.
They're going to have to.
So then it will.
They're going to have to. They're going to come back to, I assume they have TV deals just sitting there. And if they don't fill obligations, then they lose the money, which means they're motivated by money to fill those, right? Because, I mean, that's a lot of money they got sitting there.
Well, and I think the players want to play, so.
Well,
I
what are
don't
the
think there's
players
gonna-
doing? They're sitting there scratching their balls, going like, "What are we gonna do?"
Yeah. So I think
The
players
big
are
thing,
motivated.
the big thing for players is gonna be if they got to be in a bubble and away from their families, because that
They've already said, the players union has already come out and said they will not do that. That is not an option.
fair.
Well, why would they do that? I mean, you just watched NFL and
Yeah.
MLB do their thing.
Not to mention when it was for the Stanley Cup playoffs, and you're like, oh, we got to live in a hotel for possibly 3 months. Okay, we'll live life. But
And
now
stay
you're
away
talking,
from the family and the whole bit.
and
right?
now you're talking like 6 months or whatever it's gonna be. It's like, yeah, that
So
ain't gonna
I get the TV deals and everything else. So are all the teams in the league fine if they don't have fans again for another year? Or are we going to start to see some cracks?
Well, no. But I would argue the top leagues might be fine.
No, I'm talking the NHL.
I think the NHL...
Every team in the NHL will be fine?
No.
With an $80 million payroll?
I think they'll survive.
I think we did the math. Wow.
There's going to be
the
some
estimated math of what fans, like having fans in the Edmonton Oilers selling out every single night off of seats and a bunch of different things. It paid for like your payroll for the year,
right?
But not your GM, not your
busing, not your flights, all your stuff,
all your extras,
right?
And maybe a bunch of TV deals and everything else kicks in. Obviously, there's a whole bunch that kicks in. Would pay and pick up a bunch of that. And then you get into playoffs, and that's why they always say it's the cream, right? Like, it's the top.
Yeah, because you don't pay the players in the playoffs, right?
That's right. And you get...
No, I should probably put all 32 teams in the playoffs then. It's good.
Sounds like you're contradicting yourself there, Dust.
No, it sounds like a great idea now.
So going back to it, the TV deal better be pretty damn good. The travel, they're gonna be in the same position as any other league, right? That's why they're talking. A Canadian division. We got that. Like what happens in a Canadian division? Well, one, they don't go across the border, but now you're playing Calgary more times. You're playing Vancouver more times. Those are closer. That's a closer trip. Maybe
it's
where
a
you're
long ways to go over to Toronto, Montreal, and
Ottawa,
though.
But
it would be a swing though, right? Once you get to Toronto, how far is it from Toronto to Ottawa? How far is it from Ottawa to Montreal?
Fair enough, but we're making the argument that it'd be cheaper or not. I mean, it'd be
no.
the same
but
thing. You go down to LA and then you're right beside.
You're talking money again,
right?
At the end of the day, they're losing money. The reason why it got to be where you had to spend $500 million to get a team in the NHL is because they were making a ton of money. They ain't making a ton of money right now.
No.
None of us are going to games.
Nope.
None of us are buying the $10 beers that we all hated, but we still bought.
I'll tell you what, how much, Dust, are you making right now with your business? How much are we making with our business right now with dealing with COVID? They're going to be in the exact same spot, right? Nobody's making money as long as this is going on. So everybody's in the...
Who knows? Who knows?
It'd be interesting to see MLB with salary cap, though. That would change the whole dynamics. Going back to what you were talking about.
The thing with something like that, though,
Wait. Does the NHL... You're the guy who asked the question, and I could see you chewing on it.
Yeah.
Like, does the NHL survive? Do pro sports survive? Maybe survive isn't the right word. I don't know.
Well, I think they get through it because we got enough billionaire people in the world. I think there might be. That's what I'm more asking about, the cracks. Like, I don't know if what you see would get through if we had to go through 2 or 3 or 4 years of this. Does Florida and Arizona survive?
The only thing about that, though, Jay, is if people are locked up in their houses,
Columbus,
or if they're not allowed to go to these games and stuff, the TV deals get more lucrative over time because more people can't go to the games.
Yeah, but if the number, like, did the NHL have record numbers? Anybody know that?
No.
Why were the NBA numbers down?
I think because the players are wusses.
Well, and that's the other thing with a little bit of it all, though, right? I mean, is the NBA out of any of the leagues has been the most politically charged out of anything.
It's true.
So did that make a difference?
I think it didn't help them. I don't think it helped them.
I think people are there's so much going on that
there's so much going on when COVID's going on. We're all sitting at home.
No, I realize that, but I think people are focused on what the heck is going on in their lives. There's so much changing in their lives on a daily basis they don't watch. Is that possible? They pay less attention?
I'll say this about just TV in general. Hear it all the time with the older generation that comes on. Once upon a time, when the Stanley Cup Finals was on, it was Saturday night. There was nothing else going on. You all tuned into it. No different if the Border Kings were playing.
Like old Shep said.
you'd go and you'd watch.
Yeah.
And that's what now, COVID locked us all in our house, but you still got options. Like, we all had options. And so every once in a while something captures attention, and I think of The Last Dance. Like, everybody tuned in to Michael Jordan, right? Like, that was fucking awesome. I can't say the same thing about the NHL playoffs. I just can't. When the Oilers are in, they're our team. I watched all the games. When they fell apart, then you started to pick and choose. The MLB is special to me. Maybe it's just the time of year. If it was April, maybe it'd be a bit different. You might be right on that. But something about the MLB, you just flick it on, and when it's a playoff game, you just flick it on, and it's good. It is fantastic. I didn't do the same thing with the NBA, and I sure ain't doing the same with the NFL, and I know there is a ton of NFL fans out there losing their top. Just relax. But NFL I always think the NFL is king, and they've found a way to make this seem like it is nothing.
Okay.
Right? They're still playing their games.
I think maybe what I'm thinking about, what I'm trying to explain is, and it's not quite World War II, but during World War II, I got a feeling that everybody was so focused with what was going on around World War II that nothing else seemed to matter as much. Now, COVID's not World War II, but you look at the last 6 months and everything's gone on in the world, it seems like chaos on a fairly regular basis. You think of the riots and the burning of buildings and COVID and everything, and it seems like there's so much going on in the world on a daily basis at times. There's too much to focus on, and it loses its importance.
I could buy into that.
Now, how long does that go on for? I don't know. You would think we're at close to the end of it, but you really don't know. It's got crazier this year than I thought it could.
Well, we'll come to Jay's. Well, actually, before we get to Jay's question, what's your thoughts on having 4 dub players possibly play for the Bobcats? Because with the WHL not starting until later, they've opened it up for their players to come back and play for, well, as far as I can tell.
Dodgers beat the Rays 4-2. That's final.
That's final. And by the time this airs, it might be all over. Who knows? But WHL come out, said they're going to let their players come back and play Junior A. I'm speaking from a Lloyd standpoint. Like, you could have, think of all the guys we got.
Can you get in the rink to watch them, though?
I know, that's the problem. Actually, that's the biggest problem, is we can't get in the rink. Can you imagine if you had Waters, captain of the Blades, come back? Well, you got Rhett Reinhardt playing defense there, too. You got, and now I'm going to feel bad. But you got Ward sitting in Red Deer. You got that McClellan kid from Wainwright who just got drafted by Philly. I hope I said his name right because I'm probably torturing it. Sitting there. You got all these kids. How about Ty Smith still of age? Centazzo.
Franklin.
Right. No, Franklin
Too
isn't
old?
too old, I think.
Too old, maybe.
He's going to play down south. But you got Ty Smith. No, Ty Smith will be of age.
Wouldn't that be something old Ty come back for 3 months?
The problem, but like Dustin says, we all can't get in the building to watch him.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be unbelievable?
Yeah. How many people are letting in the Civic Center right now?
150, I think it is.
150, yeah.
Sell out every night.
It's a hot ticket.
Would be.
It would be.
a
It is
hot
now.
ticket.
Yeah.
Think about it. 150 people in a building that seats what? Couple grand?
thousand.
Yeah. With the seats, maybe 1,500 nowadays.
Like, do you have to
Maybe.
bribe someone to get in the game then, or
Got to know somebody.
got to know someone who knows someone?
Yeah.
Eh?
Who's winning the American election? I know, not a politics show by any stretch of the imagination, but it is probably, at this point, and the American election always is a big thing on Canada, but for us, this is a big election. So who's winning it?
Trump in a landslide.
Trump in a landslide.
Yep. I really believe that.
If you look at the polls right now, I think Biden's ahead by about 20 points or something like that. I don't know.
So they say.
I think it's 10.
a lot.
I think 10 points. But
10?
Yeah.
They keep saying that. They said that during the last election. I really don't trust the American polls.
Well, as far as the last election go, Trump had no business even being in the conversation, and then he ended up winning, right? So,
which way does it help us more? Because I've heard arguments on both sides in the last 2 weeks that if Biden wins, it would actually help our oil field more because he's going to shut down all the fracking down there.
I don't think he actually shuts down the fracking. I think he just says that. I don't know how he actually would.
But I
It
mean, why would you
tell
say
what,
that?
It would absolutely fracture the whole U.S. if he actually banned fracking.
So why say it? Because his left guys are going to vote for him anyway, so why even say it?
I don't know if he's all there.
And if you're not gonna do that, then why would you? You're absolutely.
He's 78 years old. Like he's not Mike Smith.
You're getting
old,
rid
but
of.
he's
You're
old.
getting rid of Texas just right then and there, right? Like, yeah, we don't worry about.
This is why I don't believe the polls. The polls are showing that Texas is gonna swing Democrat, and I'm like for reals? Like really?
There's a lot of city center, like Houston's 4 million people. So
After
you think
Biden comes out and says he's going to ban
No, I'm not
fracking, Texas is going to swing
obviously, I'm
Democrat?
not saying that Biden's going to win or anything. I'm just your comment was on Texas though, and I'm just saying there's there's a large you get the large cities. I mean, even here, right? If we're going to vote Liberal or NDP in Alberta, where does that happen?
Yeah, it's always in the cities.
Right.
So, Harles, are you saying Biden's going to win then?
No, I'm very split down the middle. I honestly don't know. With Biden being ahead 10 points, I still don't think that, there's a lot out there. I think that a lot of people that might not vote on a normal election, and they're going to be interested in coming back out and voting again for Trump. And so I honestly still think Trump. I still think Trump is going to win.
What are you thinking? You're the one with the American wife.
I think it's strange that we're talking about another country's election. Honestly, I do. Think how strange that is.
It's the most powerful country in the world.
That is true.
Us.
It's true. So,
It has as much effect on us as probably the Canadian election.
I watched the last debate, and I thought, everybody out there who's listening to this and got Joe Biden written off because he's Sleepy Joe and he doesn't know how to string together sentences, obviously doesn't watch him talk because he is pretty smooth, right? I was sitting there and I was sitting beside the wife and I looked over a couple times and said, and he has got Trump on the ropes. Like, on the ropes. Like, he is thumping on him, and he's laughing at Trump, and I was laughing at Trump, because who can't laugh at Trump? I feel like that's part of what he does, right, is he just says absurd things. When he's talking about him and Abraham Lincoln, you can't help but be like, Trump, just stop. But, in saying that, then Biden will get on a tear and say things like, we're going to get rid of the oil field. And you're like, get rid of it? Jeez. And then he goes, I want to clarify. And you're like, okay, please clarify that. No emissions, 0 by 2025. And both Mel and I look at each other and I go like, if he'd said 2050, maybe that's realistic. But we're like 4.5 years away from 2025. There's no freaking way and it's gone. Like it doesn't work that way. And there's a reason Trump's there. Trump's there because he keeps doing Joe, you were just in 3.5 years ago. You did none of this. What's wrong, Joe? And Joe can't say anything. And just the way Trump does it is just lovely. It was, whoever thought I'd sit and watch a presidential debate for a couple hours, and it just was entertaining. And part of it, 85% of it's Donald Trump. Last time the election came around, I thought Hillary Clinton was going to win. I told Jay that in his house. And then, Trump wins. So what the hell do I know? So let's go to a string, and I'm going to say Kanye West. Right? He's going to split up the middle and just come from nowhere, and Kanye West is leading the most powerful nation. Yeah, that's right.
But could you imagine?
I don't know.
Oh, my God.
He'd have a great rap song about it.
Hey,
I'd listen to it. I'd probably download it and pay for it and all that.
I heard Kanye on Joe Rogan today, and he'd actually have my vote, I think. He actually talks pretty well, so.
Well, there's the value of dust vote.
Yeah, there you go.
No Mike Smith and Kanye West.
I am
Trump and
Kanye West.
Kanye West.
Yeah, and I am interested to hear what you have to say, because out of anybody here, you've probably watched everything and have been the most involved.
I don't know. Sometimes that makes you dumber. So you watch everything. So there's a Trafalgar poll. Little tongue
Can
twister.
you say that again?
Hey, but he's moving to Italian, right? Like
Yeah. No. This is down the States, Charles. So
Was
it's
it a Portugal poll?
the guy that did this poll. He predicted Trump's win in 2016.
Yeah.
And so what he said is that a lot of the polls, they don't take into account how many people don't want to, if someone comes to your door, you don't want to say who you're voting for.
Yeah.
Right? People don't like that.
And no one wants to
And
say Trump.
never mind that it's Trump. He says even on regular, like even on other times, people, there's certain amount of certain percent that don't like to say who they're voting for. They think that's a very private thing.
Yeah.
And then on top of it, now you got Trump. So there's definitely a certain percentage that do not want to say that because they get ridiculed.
Yep.
So according to his models, he thinks Trump ekes out a win. So I'm going with the Trafalgar poll.
3 Trumps and a West, no Biden. That's what we're saying.
But I'm not sure which way would be better for us. I'm not sure. I've heard the arguments both ways. Because I know what you're saying, Dust, but if Biden decides to shut down some of the fracking and the states slowly diminish down to 8 or 9 million barrels a day, that's going to affect us here.
fracking. They go lower than that, Jay.
I know, but even if he does partial, right?
Yeah.
So it's a big debate.
Well, it's like I say, it's a strange thought to think about somebody else's leader. Do you think the Americans give 2 shits about Trudeau coming in?
They're the largest, most powerful country in the world.
I know.
They don't care
That's
about
fair.
everyone
Hey,
anybody
you
else's
can you
elections.
you can.
They
I understand.
would still be interested probably a little bit in Russians and Chinese, right?
No,
But
probably not.
Yeah.
When
they
was the
don't
last
have-
time
they
you
don't
were
have
in?
elections in China? Charles.
no,
When
fair
was the
enough.
last time you paid attention to anything
Do they
going
have
on in
any in
Russia,
Portuguese?
China, anywhere?
Maybe check with the Italians there, Jay.
All I'm saying is, it's odd. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
I understand
No,
the
I
most
agree.
powerful
Yeah.
nation.
I'll be tuning in because how can you not?
Well, that's right.
It's the greatest show on earth at the moment.
All right, let's do this. Crude Master Final 5. Shout out to Heath and Tracy McDonald. Huge supporters of the podcast since the very beginning. 5 questions. We're going to start with one that is close to my heart. Your favorite age of your kids. Now, Harley and me are kind of tied at the hip on this one because we have the youngest. And the reason why this question is in here is in the last week and a half, it's actually closing on 2 weeks, I got to take Shay, my oldest, to buy his first set of skates, which was fun. Then I got to take him out in full gear in said skates, and he actually, walked, skated, whatever. But before this time, if I got him out on the ice, he lost his absolute shit. And it wasn't, he, as a guy who loves hockey and skating, you just want to help, but you can't, he just isn't there yet. And in the last couple weeks, he's there. Like, it's fun to watch. He wants to be out on the ice. He wants to, and you can see him trying to get it, and he's starting to get it. Did a little 360 the other day and actually stood up. He was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, that's right. Fist pound for that, right? That's cool. So, I go around to you 3. What has been your favorite age of your kids thus far?
Go ahead, Charles.
Oh, every year that Mason gets older, it gets better. So he can do more. There's more things that we can bond with. So it just keeps getting better. And by no means is that a knock on Ayla. She's just that much younger yet. So we'll see as the time progresses. But right now, he's 4 coming on 5 in January. And this by far has been the best yet. Just because we can actually start to do stuff, right? We went out with Sean and Shay there and skating at the multiplex, and the first skate at the multiplex last year when he first started, he was skating from end to end in 59 seconds. By the
Did you time him?
I did.
Harley's gonna be that guy, hey? That dad.
I
only got 32 seconds.
I was
Hey,
just
what?
interested.
Hey?
I was just interested, right? I wanted to see a bit of progression.
Little Jerry just ran upstairs.
No, Bobby Joe, he got 45 seconds.
Halfway through last year, he was at 39.
I got the
start of-
Seinfeld reference.
No,
That was good.
I
That
gotta
was
finish
good.
that.
That was
Little, little Jerry ran from Newman's place to mine in 59 seconds. Was that fast? I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know that. Start of this year, we went out, and I just timed him right on 11 seconds. And you go 59 seconds down to 11 seconds in a year. and you think like how much progression, how much stronger, faster, all of that stuff,
It's
right?
just
And
cool.
it's only it's getting better, and every year that progresses, it keeps getting better. So I'm really interested because I know Sean is probably the exact same, right? Every year that passes, it's continuing to get better. At some point here, though, right? I mean, there's probably a fond time that you're going to look back on as that is the best, right? And so I'm interested to hear what you guys
What's
have to say.
amazing about Harley's story is it still takes Harley 25 seconds.
He's catching them.
Dust, are you timing me? What are you trying to do here?
So I got, and Little Jerry's right. The chicken's name is Little Jerry. In the
Yeah,
Seinfeld
Little
episode,
Jerry.
right?
Yeah.
Anyhow.
Little Jerry.
I just thought I had to be right on that one. So I got two favorite ages. 6 months to a year. Because as a baby, they're not walking around yet, but they're with it enough to actually interact with you. So that was one favorite age. And the other one is that 7 to 10 range. And the reason why 7 to 10 is, and we'll see in a couple of years when my kids become teenagers, whether they'll start, talking back or not wanting to be around you so much, which I think is probably natural. But at 7 to 10, you can play with them, you can reason with them, you can joke around with them. They have a personality, but they're not old enough where they're going their own way. They still want to hang around with you. So those are my two favorite ages.
Well, I've had a lot more history of ages, I guess. I wasn't a big baby guy, so that's not my age. I enjoyed the 6 to 12 because they're independent enough, and they're doing all the fun things, but they still are innocent enough and enjoy everything, right? And then all of a sudden one day when they're 12 or 13, it changes within a week, and you're going, what happened? But I will say through the teenage years, there's some enjoyable things too, because that's where you play at the higher levels. And it doesn't necessarily have to be AAA. It's just the higher levels of hockey or ball or sports, volleyball, whatever that sport is for the kid. And they're, where they're actually playing the game how it's supposed to be played, and they understand what's going on. And that can be a lot of fun. And then you get the road trips with the parents and all that kind of good stuff, right? So for me, probably 6 to 12 is probably my favorite age for that. But there was some enjoyable things that go from that 12 to 17, just different. And there's a little more stress, especially once they get to about 15. So that probably takes away from it a little bit. But
Who is the best athlete at their current sport? Currently. Right now. Today.
Oh, basketball. Basketball, you got LeBron.
I don't want one from each sport. I want who do you think is the best.
Oh, their house.
And it supersedes anyone at their current sport. So LeBron's better than McDavid.
LeBron, I would say.
So last night, I watched.
As much as that pains me to say.
LeBron's incredible. Last night I watched the UFC, and Khabib retired last night.
How long does he stay retired for, though?
No. So his dad passed away. He promised his mom that this was going to be his last fight. He is 29-0, and I watched him last night fight against Gaethje, who is the number one contender, and actually was the interim belt holder because Khabib was away while his dad died. And he absolutely, it was just complete and utter domination. It wasn't even close. It was he beat him in 2 rounds. Gaethje's this guy who has, can throw huge punches and people fear his hands, right? He came at him. After the first minute of the first round, all the way through the rest of the first round and the second round, he just came at him the whole time. Didn't slow down, didn't stop, just went straight at him until eventually took him down, choked him out within 10 seconds of him being on the ground. And it was unbelievable. Now he's retired as of today, so I guess I can't say him. But it was so impressive. I was
who's your top athlete of today?
I just told you, Arles. I'll stay with Khabib because he was I couldn't believe how good he was.
I'm going to go McDavid just because to me he's playing at a different level. I think LeBron's really good and he's going to go down as one of the top 5 all time, but he's getting older. So I'm going to say McDavid.
Is McDavid in the top 5 conversation already? is the question I have for you. And this is the only thing that is
No.
going to spur me. So then, really,
No, but the question is, who's the
Right
best
now.
athlete right now?
Right now.
Not who's had the best career, who's the top 10, who's going to make the Hall of Fame, who's won more cups. Who is the best athlete right now?
In their sport.
So I like LeBron because you put LeBron on your team, you pretty much go to a championship. I get Khabib because I get it. I get McDavid because I get it. And the only other guy from another sport, when I watch him, I go, man, that guy is fucking talented, is Mahomes. Mahomes is just good at what he does. And NFL, wow, football. As a QB, if you know, most guys like that only last like a little short time and then they just get cranked or whatever. But that guy can throw a ball from wherever. He can move. He can just do everything. He is absolutely fun to watch. And it pains me because I'm a Tom Brady fan. Like, Tom Brady is the man. Patrick Mahomes is like
Right now,
Oh.
in this space.
it's
he is
actually interesting
unbelievable.
that because I was taking it as a different point of view, right? Like, best right now, but it's still, they've got a bit of their pedigree.
But that wasn't
is-
the question.
No,
wasn't
fair
the
enough.
question.
Fair enough. But one other name that comes to mind is actually Serena Williams. She is still dominant at her sport,
Not
and
as-
she's got the pedigree to go along with it.
Not as dominant now. She's still really good, no doubt. But you take Serena Williams from 10 years ago, flat out. She was
Flat out the best.
The best in the probably
Nobody's
the world.
touching her.
Because she absolutely smoked the rest of the women for 10 years of her life, 15 years of her life. You know what's funny about Tom Brady is I was always a New England fan, big Tom Brady fan. I thought him at 43 going to a new team with a new offense, no defense, new coach, new everything, they'd struggle. And he's been flat out good this year. I've been
But
so
that
at
defense there is
43
unbelievable. He joined a team. So did he do that on purpose? He knew the Bucs would have that good of a defense?
Let's be very clear. Tom Brady ain't dumb. Like, are you going to sit there and think Tom Brady's dumb?
No, that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. So he picked. He
Yeah. He
Because the
knew
Bucs
what he
would
was
have the
walking
number
into.
2 defense in the league right now.
He knew what he was doing.
No, true enough. All I'm saying is at 43.
Yeah.
he's still getting
I get
done.
what Dust is saying, but I get what you're asking. Do you think Tom Brady's dumb? No.
No, I didn't say
But
that.
here's the thing about Tom Brady. Take the
No, but you were saying if Tom Brady got offered an extra $2 million at Seattle, or not Seattle, but you know what I mean.
Was there any luck involved, or he knew the Bucs
No,
were going to
he
be
knew.
that?
He knew.
No,
That guy doesn't stay with Bill Belichick and do what they did without being thorough. And by thorough, I mean thorough. So him picking Tampa Bay, he knew.
Okay, but hold on a minute.
Where do
here,
I got a
guys.
very good success rate? What do I need? He's going to a team. He needs a good defense because he trusts his ability to run the offense.
Okay,
I agree with Sean.
here's the thing, though. Take the defense out of the equation. He's thrown like 14 touchdowns and 4 picks or 6 picks or something? Like, that is incredible for a 43-year-old guy. Like, we're not talking the defense is winning games. He's throwing 14 touchdowns and only having 6 picks.
And yet we're talking about a 39-year-old Mike Smith. So, I mean.
Yeah, Mike Smith
Wait.
is Tom fucking
Hey,
Brady.
I tell you what,
Seriously.
whoa. Before we go any further on that, because I'm a Tom Brady guy, you're talking about probably the
greatest
best
of all
quarterback
time. The
of all
GOAT.
time.
The
Mike
GOAT.
Smith, get the hell out of here.
You know what? Congratulations, Mike Smith. You were just saying the same breath as Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Eh?
I can't even go along
Harley's
with that dig.
Harley's a big fan.
We know Tom Brady's thorough. We're not so sure about Harley, though.
Meanwhile, Dustin is the one wearing the Oilers hat. So.
As we crack into what's that one called, Harles?
Bottle number 2.
Scapa.
Scapa. As we crack into the second bottle of scotch, what is your favorite hangover food for tomorrow?
Why are we asking this question tonight?
What would you like to tell?
I guess Harley had a little bit of a late night, hey? So he was complaining about it, so we thought maybe
Harles,
we'd
what time were you up till last night?
It doesn't happen often, but it does happen every
Wait,
now
did
and
you
again.
wait? We haven't asked what happened to your lip.
Did you get in a fight with the Razor?
I tell you
the
what.
Razor beat me last night.
Last night or this morning?
Yeah.
Last night.
Last night.
Before we went out on our date night. Second one since in the last 6 months.
So for the listeners that have no idea what we're talking about, Harley has
A gash.
a gash.
He looks like Joker off of Batman.
I was about to say Joker off Batman. where the cut is placed isn't above the lip, ain't below the lip, is right in line with the crease.
Yeah.
Of
Makes
the
it look
lip.
like he has a bigger smile.
It looks, man, he's got a big smile going on. Hey? And what you were doing is you're having too many wobbly plops, were you?
Not it at all. Not it at all. That was before any wobbly pops happened, period.
So what was your hangover food today?
So yeah, this is where the question comes from. It's from Harley's Cut. So fire away, Harles. What do you got for a hangover food?
Honestly, the best hangover cure is just getting out and getting after it. So we were out skating this morning and did a bit of physical labor trying to sweat it out. But if I had a food that it was a go-to, it was not today, but probably McDonald's. It's hard to beat McDonald's. Got to get a little grease in you.
Straight up bacon and eggs. But my favorite hangover story is still Sean on the bike trip, and I expect you to tell that story when it gets back to you. Go ahead,
He's a
Jay.
dick. Carry on.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Mickey D's is an easy one to pick, so
Do we all have the savor?
I'm going to say, I'm going to go something different. I'm going to say there's nothing like waking up late and going down to an establishment and having a couple of hair on the dogs while you're watching maybe some,
a little Sunday football.
Sunday football,
Yeah.
right? And then maybe you're grabbing a little, beef dip or, fries and gravy, that kind of thing, and you got a couple of pops going on. Like that's a pretty good day.
I tell you what, I will second that. I like McDonald's breakfast. I don't think anything beats it. But the trump card is, hey, it's Sunday, football's going on. I know you feel like shit, but come down to the bar. We're gonna watch a football game, and we can have a couple of sarsaparillas and some fries, and we'll get it, and away you go. That's where the original Sunday fun day comes from.
And
What's
thing,
your drink of first drink of choice? Because are you going right back to a beer after you're hungover?
Well, I've never been a Bloody Mary or anything like that, so I would say if you had beer orange juice, I could handle that.
Boj.
I think I'd go with a Radler.
Well, I mean, now think of all the stuff
Jay?
they have.
I think I'm just going, maybe a beer and tomato.
Or clam?
No, I'm allergic to clam.
No Caesar.
I can't do Caesar.
There's a lot of people that go for a Caesar, but
I might
me and the
just go for a
clam-
shot and get
clamato.
right
The
after
only,
it.
the only problem is sometimes that Sunday fun day turns into too much fun day, and then you're hungover Monday again.
Well, I know, and actually, that's exactly what happens.
So the story I want Sean to tell, I'll lead into the story and Sean can finish it. But on the bike trip, we pull into Portage.
Portage La Prairie.
Portage La Prairie.
Actually, but the night before we were in Winnipeg, that was just as bad a night. I was on the middle of a. I could have used
Sean,
up.
we stayed with a buddy in Winnipeg, and Sean got all lit up. And we made it into Portage, and his buddy Tick, who is every bit of a tick, is what you'd think. He's full on.
He
As
is.
soon as we get
Hey,
there.
shout out to Tick if he's listening to this, because he's a cop
can't-
out in Ottawa, and shout out to all the cops out there.
So,
But Tick is one of the best. Tick's a beauty.
so Sean, we get there, and Tick's like, Sean, we got to go out. And Sean's like, oh, man, I was out last night. I don't know if it feels so well. And Tick's like, well, you're not going to stay in, are you? And Sean's like, probably not, I guess. I'm like, hey, Sean, I don't care what you do. But if you go out all night, tomorrow you're leading out on the bike.
That's true. He did say
All
that.
day on the bike. And Sean goes, yeah, no problem. So he goes out. We stay in this house, and I get woken up at about 4
No.
a.m.
Okay, now you're jumping over things.
Go ahead.
So we go out. We go to the Cat and the Fiddle, I think it was. I don't think the bar is there anymore. People, if they're listening to Portage, can tell me different. But we go to Portage La Prairie. We go in the bar there, the Cat and the Fiddle, and we have a grand old time. And may have made some eyes at some ladies. Anyways, the short of the story is this, okay?
This is pre-Mel. Pre-Mel for sure.
Oh yeah, I know. Hey, Mom, I'm sorry that you have to hear about me making eyes at other ladies, because she's gonna, ladies and gentlemen, she's gonna harass me.
Just
about
because
this.
Sean made eyes at ladies doesn't mean anything happened.
Right.
He still made it home.
Right. I still made it home. Anyways, so I roll in at about 4:05 a.m. Okay,
At about 4:05.
No,
I
like
was
it
just
was
about-
almost like
I was
bang
just
on
about to say
4:05.
4 a.m. because I got woken up.
I remember looking and being like, oh shit, I hope Dustin doesn't wake up. And I mean, I laid my head down on the pillow.
No. You're missing this story, though. You lay your head down on the pillow, and Tick is like every 5 minutes going, hey, Sean. And then he'd tell a story, and Sean would go, and I'd be like, fuck, boys, just shut the fuck up. It's 4 a.m. And Tick did this for like the whole hour until like 5 a.m. because we got up at about 5 a.m. every morning to hit the bike.
You know what I hate about Dust? He mixed up Winnipeg and Portage. Because that's what happened in Winnipeg. And I had to do the same thing the night before, okay? Portage, I roll in at 4:05, you wake up at 4:15, and I didn't even get to close my eyes. He's just like, hey, you better be up in half an hour, or at 4:30, and we're biking. I'm like, okay. And so I didn't close my eyes. I just got on the bike and led the entire way. And the thing about that day is,
No,
you're not going to cut me off here.
No, I was just gonna
from
say,
Portage
Tick-
to Winnipeg.
Tick never shut up the whole time.
Portage to Winnipeg was the longest day we had of the entire trip. 69 days. Longest trip was the night I had no sleep. And not because I had no sleep, which everybody would think you had no sleep. It was because from Portage to Winnipeg, we blew every tire possible.
No, to Brandon.
Brandon, whatever.
Yeah.
Now I'm screwing up.
Yeah.
From Portage to Brandon, we blew every tire possible. It was the hottest day. It was 30-some above. I led the entire way because Dustin wouldn't let me out of the way. He wouldn't let me drag in the
Sean?
drift.
You want to go out all night? You pay the fucking price, buddy.
I tell you what, hey, Tick, if you're listening, it was worth the squeeze. That was a great fucking night. Wouldn't change it for the world.
No. So here's the thing, is we blow all the tires that day, and the only time we had to patch a tire was on the side of the road in between Portage and Brandon. We had a headwind the whole day. Sean was muscling it out. The great thing about following Sean is he's so wide, is you get in his tailwind, and you hardly even have to pedal. But Sean was dying in the front, right? Anyhow.
I had like 5-second wins that day. I feel great. I feel terrible. I feel great. Oh, this is the worst day of my life.
Anyhow, so we're on the side of the highway waiting for this. We patched once because we'd always carry extra tubes, so we didn't have to patch. We had to patch that day because we blew so many tires. We patched that tire, and we're laying in the ditch when it's like 35 above, and every time a semi goes by, you gotta go. And we're laying there, and I look over at Sean, and I'm like, "Hey, Sean, now this is biking across Canada right here." And anyhow, then we finished at what, 6 o'clock that night?
You forget the best part of that day.
What was that?
The guy who drives up, we're about 10K out of Brandon. Pulls up. Like, I could talk about this all day. I remember, as hungover as I was that day. I remember that day.
Was that not your longest bike day out of the entire year?
Hours-wise, not distance.
Hours-wise.
Yeah, because we ended at 6 o'clock that night.
And so we're stuck. We're patching a tire. This guy rolls up in a halftime, pulls up, and says, "Hey, why don't you hop in the back? You look tired. You can get out of town. I'll drive you in. Start your truck. Start fucking moving. I didn't bike this far to have you fucking haul my ass in. I'll get there." And Dustin's like, "You sure? Like, we could do..." Dust, shut up. Get in the fucking ditch. We'll fucking lay it out here for a bit, and we'll get in there. Let me tell you, when I was tired and I was leading the way, I may have been hungover, but I was not giving up that easy.
My question is, so when you got to Brandon, did you go out that night?
Sean went to bed.
Kevin Kelk. Another shout out to Kevin Kelk. Because Kevin Kelk, now this is the third night in a row. So BMAC did it to me. That's why I went on Winnipeg. And then Tick did it to me in Portage. And the next night is Kevin Kelk. And Kevin Kelk, we're sitting there. He said, "Come on, man. We got to have a drink." And I'm like, "Dude, I can't get my eyes open right now." And he's like, no, you can't. And I passed out on his floor watching some movie, snoring. Because I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. So I would have loved to, sure. But I literally couldn't keep my eyes open anymore.
I will say this, is I'll give props to Sean. He was not a basketball player that day. For sure.
He was not a LeBron.
That's a true story. Kevin Kelk tried to get me. Another shout out to Kevin Kelk, because I feel bad.
And to all the apologies to the Brandon ladies for that night missed.
Well, he was the guy in the list, right? If he had been the first, we would have went out hard. He was the third. So he got BMAC, Tick, him. I had nothing left. I was done. I had to haul his ass all the way. Yeah, how would Dustin have made out if he had nobody breaking wind for him the entire way off across Canada? He would have cut out by Thunder Bay. He would have been like, "You know what? I'm flying home. This is enough."
The beauty part
If
about
Lori would have been leading that,
She just about ran into a deer one time, and she ran over a sign in Calgary. So,
Hey, what's your next one on the
whoa,
list?
whoa, whoa! Just wait. I will say this. Well, I can't remember what I was going to say now.
She's getting old.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, I'm like Mike Smith old.
Memory's fading.
If you could win a single game, okay, championship game. So we're talking Game 7 in the Stanley Cup Finals. Game 7 of the World Series. Game
We're
7.
talking overtime winner versus home run to win the game versus
TD.
touchdown
but catching the touchdown,
Buzzer beater.
throwing the pass,
Sure.
buzzer beater,
yeah,
overtime winner,
putt on the 18th green,
putt on the 18th green.
Placeholder?
knee to the face, UFC.
You knee to the face, sure.
Yeah.
Tennis, Dustin's been doing too much fucking taekwondo over there,
I know,
eh?
he thinks he's tough now.
It's not taekwondo, but anyone wants to take a round, let's go.
I tell you what,
He's
that's what we're gonna put out to the listeners after. Who'd win a fight? That's what we're gonna do. If people want it, I want you to
I think we should take bets and make it happen.
hit me up at
Nah, I'm too soft. Just, Twitter. That just sounds like a lot of hurt there.
I'd love to take Jason in the first round.
Wait.
I owe him a
But
beatdown.
is it
I
a
owe
fight?
Jay a beatdown like
Is it a
something bad.
full-on fight, no punching, just submissions, or is it like
no, you
WWE,
throw
no holds
punching in
bars,
there.
garbage can and ladder match? Like, well, I think I got a
let's-
chance.
Throw on gloves, and away you go.
I'm in. Anyways, all I'm saying is if you're interested in that, you hit me up at some social media. We'll make it happen. All right. Now, if you were winning a single game, which sport and how?
Jay, you start.
Oh, why do I gotta start?
I'll start this. I know exactly what I do. It would be a home run in the 9th inning or extra innings. Doesn't matter. A walk-off home run. And the reason is because you get to trot around the bases. You get the bat flip. And
Would
you
that
get to
be
trot
would that
around
be the first
bases.
home run you would ever have hit?
Yes.
I did hit it in the park once, for sure, because I was
Inside the
fast.
park?
Yeah, for sure. But that's what I do, for sure. For sure. A home run to
That
win.
brings back great memories of the Britain golf tournament. Golf
tournament, yeah.
ball tournament where we had the home run derby. Who won that, boys? Hey? Hey?
I did hit one, though, didn't I?
You might have hit one,
This
Dustin.
is not even sure.
I think
I
hit
think
one
it was inside the park,
Inside the
maybe?
park. I think.
All right,
I
Dustin's
It's
ball.
been a home run derby.
Yeah. Harles?
Well, Jay,
Jay?
you go.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know what? I could feel for any of the four. I guess, a little through the legs, dipsy doodle, under the bar, jump into the glass, win the Stanley Cup. Can't get much better than that.
If I was going to be the overtime hero in hockey, though, I think I'd be Gretzky streaking down the left-hand side, slap shot, top shelf. Game over.
Yeah, that was game 2 against the Flames.
Yeah, it was. But they swept them after that.
Yeah, he's played all night.
Stevie Y. John
he was
Casey.
No. He was
Yeah.
he was penalty killing against Mike.
Yeah, I
Vernon
know, but that's
walked
what
down
that's
the line.
when he was going down the sideline there with the puck. He
It's
was
true.
penalty killing.
Yeah.
And the announcer's going, and there's Gretzky with the puck. He's played all night.
Yeah.
Shoots and scars, right?
Yeah,
and it's
slap
just
shot.
Yeah.
Gretzky with a slap shot. Which
Yeah,
seems
Gretzky
odd.
with the slap shot. Yeah, that's right.
Anyhow, go ahead, Sean.
I think I might be the odd one out here. I mean, obviously, would I take an OT winner in hockey? I think I would.
You think you would. You think you would.
Okay. Well, I like the orchestration. You step back, you're Tom Brady. All you need is a little touch, boom, and you win the Super Bowl. And you're not the guy catching the ball by any stretch, but you're the guy orchestrating it, right? So it doesn't matter whether you're the handoff and whatever, it's just boom. And Super Bowl is I would take that. I would take that in a heartbeat, right? Throwing the dagger in the end zone, fourth quarter, you march down the field, 30 seconds left, boom, that's done. I'd probably take that.
I just keep going to, I look at it all, and for me, it would either be hockey or baseball, right? That feeling of, you hit the dinger, and now the trophy comes out, and you can't even barely hold it because you're worried about breaking the frickin' trophy.
Yeah, but you're
because
not worried about the trophy. You're worried about the play, the feeling. That's what we're talking about.
That's what I'm saying. The bat flip and the trot around the base.
Yeah,
has been
and you might be
unbelievable.
right. I tell you what,
Yeah.
I think it's almost to the point where you're like, what are we even talking about? Like a baseball, whether it's the home run dust or whether it's just an RBI single and you win the game. Look at T-Bay last night. Like, that was unbelievable. The guy running the field, that's unbelievable. You can say the same thing about soccer. You can say the same thing
honestly,
about hockey. You
honestly,
can say
probably-
the same thing
probably
about hitting
now-
a Kawhi Leonard. Hits that fucking
Yeah, that was
buzzer beater, and it
unbelievable.
just hangs there. It's like, what is
Bounces.
better than that?
Yeah.
Well, the truth of the matter is, when you win at the buzzer, I don't know if there's one better than the other.
Baseball, actually, now that I think about it a little bit more, I think baseball.
Joe
you
Carter.
get the run around the bases.
I know.
You get the guys jumping on top of you. You know, Azarino or whoever there last night, and he's on the base or on home plate, and he's banging the base.
Winning-
guys are jumping like
winning
dog
is
pile.
winning.
Dog pile
Sean,
on top
the
of you.
thing
Right?
I would
Like-
take.
Football is-
I would take, as long as I was a part of the team, I would take whatever dog shit role you want me to be in. Let's just win. You give me the dog shit role, we win, and I'm on the cup, whatever the cup is, as long as it isn't patting LeBron on the back. I'm sorry, LeBron. As long as I'm an equal or semi-equal in it, I'm not Joe Sakic, but I get to at least hold the cup. Give me that role. I'd take that.
I could be the 23rd guy that lifts the cup.
Fucking right.
You know what's funny about that is you're talking about football. Most times the guys who win it late in football games are the kickers.
True.
That's why I say placeholder.
I'm a Tom Brady guy. He just has these little ways of just boop over there, and it's boom, and it's it. Anyways, your final one, which we ended on last time when we drank Harley's bottle of scotch.
Just wanted to
and
say
it was-
thanks for Harles on having such a great pick. And
I'm sure he'll have a
You
great
know.
pick the next time.
well,
as
I mean, he just buys such a great bottle of
I know,
scotch. So
he's
What-
just
wanted to
perfect
give him
at
that
it.
thank you. Out there.
What Harley, what
You're
Dustin,
welcome.
what
getting
Dustin
better
and Jay
at
are getting to is bet time. All right, so here it is. Okay, for the next round table, we need to know who's buying the next bottle of scotch. Not that Harley's, he should have probably bought two because we could have burned that too. But, anyways, who will be the top in the NFC East? And just to give everybody, so before playoffs, anything happened, who is the top in the NFC East? Yeah, no kidding.
talking
They're all
about
talking about that right now. Here is the NFC East right now. Philadelphia Eagles are 2-4-1. Washington football team is 2-5-0.
funny calling them the Washington
Yes, it is.
football team.
The Dallas Cowboys are 2-5-0, and the New York Giants are 1-6.
Maybe what we should do is the team that wins the division, that guy has to buy the bottle.
That'd be even better.
All right. I tell you
do
what,
it
it's pretty
backwards.
bad right now. So that probably gives Harley an out. So the way we're going to work it is Harley gets first pick. Then, and we're going off point totals from our last, we were going backwards.
Yeah.
So it goes Harley, Sean, Dustin, Jay. So I agree with that.
We're going so
The team that wins it, the guy who picks the team that wins it,
Wins the division.
wins the division.
It has
Buy
It
the
has to buy
bottle.
the bottle. And we all know, Harles, you should probably pick the Giants.
I'm trying to
Just
give you
be
an out
safe.
here, Harles.
Yeah.
with my first pick, I'm gonna pick the New York Giants.
Shocker.
All right.
Oh, man. Who do I even take between the Eagles and the Cowboys?
Isn't Sean up next?
Yeah, he is.
Yes.
Sean has to take Washington, don't you?
You
No,
want
but I
to
don't care. It's up to you. Man, that's ugly.
This is a terrible, terrible thing to do. All right, I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit.
Oh, now we need half an hour while he checks out the stats.
I really feel bad actually for Kobe Man and all of this because his team is the Eagles, right? And like they should be dog shit bad this year.
I'm going to take the Dallas Cowboys. That's what I'm going to take.
You know what? I was going to take Dallas because Dak is out. Dak
Well, and right now
Prescott.
you're wondering, Dust, what would the legend do? Hey?
You know, if there's anyone to pick a loser, it would be the legend Mike Crawford. Do I got to
Wait, did we not bring up Mike Crawford?
Can I phone the legend himself right now?
We can't go through a show without bringing him up, can we?
Yeah, let's call Mike. Mike, can we get Mike on the line? Can we have a little Mike?
Okay, so Sean took the Cowboys. Harley took the Giants. I think I have to go with Washington.
Chances are I'll be buying
I'll
the
go-
bottle because I think the Eagles are probably going to win
Squeak it out. How many wins do they win it with?
it.
6?
yeah.
7?
I'm going to say 6.
6 and 10?
No, they might go 7 and 9. I'll say 7 and 9.
All right. I'll take Washington.
Yeah. Who am I going to take?
You got the Eagles, Joe.
I know.
Wouldn't you just love for the Giants to go on a tear? And
Wouldn't
win
it
6
be
games?
awesome, eh? And then Hardy's going to buy again.
You know what? Out of all of us, we all showed up with a bottle except for Jay. So I mean,
already knew that Harley.
I'm already
Hey, I
excited
knew-
for Jay to be buying the
I
next
already
bottle.
knew
Oh,
Harley
'cause
was buying.
I forgot about the bet, but
I also forgot about the bet.
I did not forget about the bet.
Well, boys, it's been absolute treat. Thanks for coming in again. And until we find out who,
wins the.
yeah, no kidding, who loses this bet.
Yeah, so now we're all going to be watching football on Sundays here.
That's right. Well, thanks for coming in, boys.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hey, folks, thanks again for joining us today. If you just stumbled on the show and like what you hear, please click subscribe. Remember, every Monday and Wednesday, a new guest will be sitting down to share their story. The Sean Newman Podcast is available for free on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you find your podcast fix. Until next time.